Welcome back to the Pod of Greed.
Welcome back indeed. So today we have a load of stories, actually. There's like a big Yu-Gi-Oh one, and then there's like also just many AI related stories.
I'm glad you do. I just got back from a trip, so I made it though.
Okay.
I'm here.
I can carry the stories for this week. I found so many things.
I'm gonna bring the color commentary.
Yeah. Well, we have to start, of course, by asking everybody to like the video and leave a 1 in chat if you're here.
Yeah, guys. If you're in our live chat during the premiere, put them ones up.
We also have a brief review this week. This is from Frog or Frog.
What do you mean,
name
Frog?
has frog and 2 frog emojis. That's their icon.
With an E. Frog.
They left 5 stars.
It could be Frog E.
Froggy. Yeah. I like this podcast and it gives me information on what's happening with Yu-Gi-Oh! Buster Blader is the GOAT. That's their review.
Yeah, that's a wild take. That's a wild take.
It's not a wild take. Buster Blader's pretty cool. The GOAT? I don't know, but I mean
what I'm saying, if we start saying GOAT, I think we can have an entire podcast on the subject of what monster is the GOAT of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can't say scapegoat.
Yeah, that would be
the scapegoat.
A very easy answer. So yeah, this week there's a lot. Let's just kick it off with the Yu-Gi-Oh! As we
usual.
do. So have you heard, since you've been kind of MIA the last few days, about the controversy with like the Konami tournament policy stuff?
No? What? Do we gotta take more showers now, or?
Yeah. So important update for Europe and Oceania events, the World Championship qualifiers.
So Europeans smell worse than us?
It's not about taking showers.
Oh.
It's actually all WCQ, that's World Championship Qualifier, main event and World Qualifying Points playoff participants must use only plain, solid color, or officially licensed Yu-Gi-Oh! Mats. Use plain, solid color, or officially licensed Yu-Gi-Oh! Card sleeves. And of course, if card sleeves and or a game mat are provided for use during a stream, you must use the items provided. So this is a new policy update that's only affecting those particular events, just WCQ events in Europe and Oceania right now anyway.
Well, I mean, what other events would there be? They don't have any ICSs.
So far there's no ICS events. But this doesn't apply to their locals or regionals either, yet anyway.
Good, because it wouldn't work.
Yeah. So what do we think about this? This has got a lot of people not pleased.
And weirdly enough, I understand. It's not that I agree with the players here. Mm-hmm. I do think if you are going to be playing in tournament, potentially on stream in front of millions, and these public events, I do think you need to present in the most acceptable manner possible. However, I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Players don't do that. We mostly use our mats and our sleeves as a form of player expression, extension of our. Sometimes they're just memes. Sometimes extremely lewd. Sometimes they're whole other card games, because for some people, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like their second game, and then like Magic or something is their main game.
Yeah.
But that's always been a part of player expression. So while I don't always agree with players' choice in accessories,
the fact that they can use them is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the sentiment around this whole thing that I've seen is like, this really does hurt player expression. There's also a lot of ambiguity around it. Like, do Spellgrounds playmats, like cloth mats, do those kind of count, or do you have to use like only a rubber mat? Because I mean, most Spellgrounds mats are like solid color, but they haven't like given exact information around that. Like that might need some clarification. At first, I think people kind of misunderstood and they thought that you only could use like officially licensed Yu-Gi-Oh! Card sleeves, which would be not great horrible. Because those aren't usually of the best quality. But it does seem like you can just use plain kind of solid color sleeves. So like your average Dragon Shield or Ultra Pro or whatever.
Which is what most players use anyway.
Which I think is what most people use. I think the matte thing is kind of more so what has people up in arms, just because like you said, I mean, mats are expression. And
I think a lot of players don't even own official mats.
There are people who don't, yeah. I think a lot of people just use what they want.
I know people don't own a lot of like solid color mats.
Yeah.
Because even those Spellgrounds, those have designs on them, right? Typically they have like patterns and stuff,
some
right?
Pattern, yeah.
And
some are just...
that is actually against that what you read, that's a Spellground would not be acceptable unless it's a complete solid color.
So here's what Konami says is their reason for doing this. And this is actually kind of interesting because, typically Konami does not really give much in the way of reasoning whenever there's a new policy update.
But this is Europe.
Yeah.
So they're a little different over there.
Yeah, they've started...
They drive on the other side of the road.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Konami Europe is like literally kind of, by many people, the cool uncle of like the Konamis, where it's like they kind of have a little more fun. And
I mean, I remember when we were in Tokyo. I remember how they got down.
Yeah, they had a little fun. Well, they say that the reasons we are implementing these changes are the following. 1, to reduce the time spent during the tournament checking duelists' accessories. Apparently that's a thing that, judges were having to do.
They say check. I mean, you kind of glance at them and call it a day.
To help free up judges to spend less time monitoring accessories and more time providing an improved tournament experience for duelists.
And I will say if a judge does have to force someone to change their accessories, that will add time.
And 3, to ensure we can consistently provide an experience for attendees of all ages.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, I mean, this makes sense, right? Like that part of it at least makes sense. People roll up to the function with some pretty messed up stuff on these mats sometimes. It's not to say that, every duelist is like that, but there are people who have some inappropriate mats. I've seen the worst of it.
Some people might say, oh, they should only ban the most, the egregious unacceptable mats. But who gets to draw the line as far as what's too lewd or what's too inappropriate for children?
Yeah, I think a reason for this that's also probably not mentioned on these is literally those live streams, they don't want infringing IPs either. Yeah. I think that they don't want you using, because a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players, like you said, Yu-Gi-Oh might be their second game and they also play One Piece or Pokemon or Magic or whatever.
I've seen a lot of Dragon Ball mats too.
Yeah, and they'll have mats that just have Goku on them or Luffy or whatever. And I think so I know for a lot of people it's well, if you were in the feature match table, sure, they give you a blank mat that just doesn't have anything on it. But I think that where they're probably most concerned is when they do those B-roll kind of just shots where it just shows the venue and people are kind of walking around messing around. There was one stream a while back where the camera was actually caught on 2 people playing One Piece. And the people, I guess the camera operators didn't notice it for a little bit, and then they suddenly kind of shifted away. So I think that they're just trying to really minimize any chances of IP kind of crossover stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do get it. I mean, this wasn't at a Yu-Gi-Oh event, but I played in a Digimon tournament where my opponent had a mat that it made it very hard to look at his cards.
Yeah, sometimes they'll have that.
And I've had my own play mats. They've fallen under scrutiny, and I don't think my mats. I don't think my mats are that bad.
Some of your Digimon mats are a little much.
Wow,
I'll say
they're not. I don't think they're that bad, but I understand why other people do, and that's why I keep official mats on me as well, just to be safe. Now, if those are a little too much, I'm sorry, they're licensed.
So here's some more of what they say. During our events, we will have judges. We will have our judges and staff, particularly for our live stream, check whether a duelist's accessories are eligible to be shown on our stream. This has not always been a simple process, as the rules we have in place for accessories between the main event and live stream feature matches were not always aligned. This policy for the WCQ should help reduce any frustration duelists have before what can be sometimes an intimidating experience. So, if you're about to get your first feature match on stream, and now they're asking you, hey, you need to change this, hey, you need to change that. It's you're already kind of nervous about being on stream. We also wish to provide clarity and certainty around what accessories can be used at these events. We hope this will ensure a smoother experience for both duelists and judges, and ensure judges can spend more time focusing on supporting duelists with rules questions. We also see that judges will frequently need to question if a game mat is appropriate for the attendees, which includes children in our Dragon Duel category. We wish to make sure that we better focus judges' time away from having to monitor what accessories are being used, and more towards making sure your rules questions are answered in an appropriate time frame.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are we still doing Dragon Duels? I didn't know.
Yeah, Dragon Duels do still exist, although they don't have Dragon Duels at Worlds anymore.
They do not.
The reason why they changed them, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I will, is they stopped doing Dragon Duels at Worlds because the Dragon Duelists just had so much pressure with kind of being on stream and stuff for that. So they send them out to a trip to get a free trip to what is the event called? The one that's in December in Japan. Jump Festa or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they get to get a trip to that, and they get to kind of hang out and have fun. But we award all attendees a participation game mat and a pack of WCQ sleeves for the event. So they are ensuring that if nothing else, we will give you some sleeves you can use for this event.
Oh,
for WCQs. will also be officially expanding this to the world qualifying point participants who receive an initial pack of WCQ sleeves as part of their participation prize. So that's the news. I've seen not a lot of great responses to this.
Well, I can shine a bright light on it.
Okay.
There was no mention of deck boxes.
I was surprised that there wasn't either.
Yeah.
I was very surprised because I know I saw a lot of people in comments sort of saying like, you guys are, this is a weird one. They were like, you guys are kind of sabotaging the custom accessories market. And I think that they are sabotaging
it. Does hurt it a little bit, yeah.
The only thing is I'm surprised players think Konami cares about
Yeah, they don't care about that
market. Like, I don't think that they really care too much for like preserving that market or not.
If anything, I don't know this, but I'd imagine they hate that market.
Yeah, I imagine Konami. So it's like, not to say that I agree with Konami. Like, I love Mana Moon and all the other different people, like Jim and stuff, who make the cool custom boxes. I like them. I like the stuff that they make. A lot of it's really cool. But I'm just saying, like, let's not pretend Konami has any reason to care about them.
To care about the like custom accessories market. But they didn't mention deck boxes, which
they didn't mention deck boxes.
Feels like an oversight.
I think deck boxes will be next. Like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they just add that to the policies later.
They might have left it off because they couldn't justify it behind the streaming thing, because you should never see their deck box
off camera. Yeah. Also, this is only in this European like WCQ thing. So will we get it in North America? Probably soon. Probably. I could see a world where that happens.
But I mean, it's a pretty interesting testing spot. There's such little impact here since they don't have any YCSs for this effect. It's just
this one event.
Yeah, just their World Championship qualifier. So
I've heard some people also argue that this might actually make it harder for judges because they're gonna have to like check everyone's stuff to make sure it's official and make sure that like you're using the right sleeves.
Well, I don't think it can't make it any harder, right? They already had to check our stuff.
I think, what Konami's probably going for here is just to make it where like it's a binary check.
Yeah.
So it's just like
I can just kind of glance, good or bad.
Official, not official. Like, or solid color, not solid color. Like, it's very yes or no, as opposed to like, well, like this seems kind of safe, but also this is a girl from an anime that's basically a hentai, even though in this picture she's not, like, it's fine, but then like, So instead of having to do the sliding scale or have people potentially like in round 3 call a judge over because it's like, I can't concentrate. This mat is like,
that's what I said during that one tournament. That one mat, oh my god.
So I think that I do think this will help, like from a judge's perspective and like a staff kind of logistics thing. I just, I think that they'll just have to clarify, like if like spell grounds and stuff like that is allowed.
I'd be surprised if spell grounds are allowed with this rule set. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, and in full disclosure, this doesn't really affect me very much because I actually have always used, like I just use like an official little Vrains blue mat or something all the time. So like I've never, as far as play mats go, I don't really use custom mats, and I just use Dragon Shield solid color sleeves. I have used
custom mats in the past, but I just find it simpler to bring the official ones. They have the zones on them. I don't like using field centers and stuff, so I like to keep that kind of thing as simple as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I know Konami had to, a while back, they had to kind of cut, like, down on the field centers, too. Yeah. Like, people used to be using, like, kind of custom field centers, or people would use, like, token cards and stuff.
They use whatever.
And they really don't want people, like, using something that could be mistaken as an actual card in the game state as a token.
But, hey, if it's a little hentai thing, no one thinks it's in the game state.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be getting a mix-up for that, but then there's, like,
who showed us their collection of field centers, and they're all wild? I forget
I know some people who have like, some fucked up shit.
Yeah, we saw. I was like,
it's my field center collection. Some of it's a little messy.
It's like, I don't even know why would you even have that many field centers? You can't use them. You can only use one at a time. But.
So that's kind of been the news. The big news this week is just people kind of. It's another one of those like players against Konami. Where does it go? Is it this authoritarian state? Like
it's
thing?
Their game. I'm not on. Hear me out, guys. I'm not on Konami's side, but it is their game, and they're well within their rights to mandate whatever they want about these tournaments, even if it's not fun, or even if it doesn't feel quite fair. I mean. We don't really have any recourse here. Even if they said we ought to play on like white paper mats, I mean.
Yeah, I find myself, and it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion, I kind of feel the same way where it's like, we can't be too surprised. Like, I'm not saying it's good, but just
really, we should have saw this coming.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, I'm surprised it wasn't like this sooner because, you know, mats get crazy and Konami is so, like, a lot of people are finding out for the first time through this rule, but like, we've, you know, worked with Konami on sponsored stuff. They are terrifyingly IP strict.
They are strict.
I mean, to degrees you guys honestly would not believe. It's very Let's
just be glad we can still, or at least, for non-Europeans it doesn't matter at all. But let's just be glad that our deck boxes are still safe. Yeah. Oh my God, people are gonna start wilding out with them deck boxes.
Yeah, now it's gonna be your only form of self-expression left. So, yeah, no, Konami's very IP like anal, I would say, because they really do not want people. You know, they don't want references to any vaguely competitor, whatever. So I'm not surprised to hear this. I would not be surprised if this shows up in North America's new policy docs very soon, actually.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, because they really could have mandated dice and everything else.
Yeah. I think they'll crack down on a lot of it.
Can you imagine if they were like, you have to use an official Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, deck box.
Oh, like the cheap ones. Oh, never. That's the one thing with this too is like Konami, if they're gonna try to mandate these official accessories that they're making, they need to make them better.
If you have a card binder, it has to be an official Yu-Gi-Oh! Card binder.
Oh, never. Yeah, that would really be a problem. So that's that. Don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it isn't great. But I will give Konami credit for this. At least they gave their reasoning.
Yeah.
And that is, while we don't like fully agree with the idea that this has to happen at all, that's like a step forward for them.
Yeah, it's a step. Well, it's a step in a direction. Let's say diagonal.
Yeah, like at least they're saying something about it because they could just be like, you are not allowed to use this, and that's the end. And we just have to kind of live with it.
That's the type of communication we're used to.
Yeah, that's what we're used to from Konami. So this is. I mean, that's something. Okay, in other small Yu-Gi-Oh! News, we've gotten a lot of new announcements of figures and stuff. I don't know if you saw the SH Monster Art Flame Wingman figure that is being released.
Ooh, so I remember I saw promotional art. I actually didn't see the figure. So see, I saw this.
Yeah.
But then like if you go back, that they have the kind of proper picture of the
like
figure
that's
itself.
Like the figure right there.
That looks really nice. I like it.
Yeah, so there's that. They also did a Blue Eyes and Red Eyes one, I believe.
I like Red Eyes. What about Ancient Gear Golem?
Not yet.
Come on, guys, make it happen.
This is the Blue Eyes versus Red Eyes one.
Oh, versus
like
Red
Eyes. Some previous figures that they've done. So yeah, these are just cool new figures that are coming out. I also saw that Bandai is going to be releasing new Egyptian god figures. So Ra, Slifer, Obelisk.
Oh, they're so gritty.
Yeah, they have a really kind of gritty look to them. There's some prize that you can get a metallic version of Ra if you're like the person who buys the last remaining ticket in the set. This is like something they're doing in Japan, I believe.
Yeah, because they usually do things by lottery in Japan. So
yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. More monster-based figures are cool. I saw there was something, Dark Magician of Chaos. I couldn't find exactly what it was, but there's like I think SH Monster Arts is also making that. Yeah,
I mean, it's cool. Like figures like this, I feel like are playing it safe. A lot DM stuff that we've seen before. I mean, it's cool and it should sell, and I know that's why they're making it. But I'd like to see more of an expanded roster. I've liked that newer line of those smaller figures. The ones with it's Dark Paladin, Blue Eyes Ultimate, and Dark Necrofear. I forget which figure line that is, but I like that they're getting this a bit more diverse. I remember there was a figure line that had, Insect Queen and somebody else. Whichever line, like I like it when we start to see more of the less obvious monsters.
Yeah, expanding to more of the other ace monsters for secondary characters.
And let's get further into GX, man. I want Ancient Gear Golem.
Yeah, I do like when they get into GX and 5Ds in particular. Those are nice. Blue Eyes and Red Eyes played like way too safe.
I just expect it.
Did you hear about TCG Retro Pack getting reprinted?
Yes, I did hear about this.
Yeah, Retro Pack, a set from like way back in 2008, is actually getting reprinted for the first time, or We're saying it's a reprint, but this is actually its first time releasing in North America.
Yeah, we never had it.
We never actually got this. This was a Europe exclusive product, and the booster set that never was is finally coming to North America. Retro Pack was a collection of vintage cards from the earliest days of the game, made to catch up other countries to the North American card pool. But since it was never released here, these exact cards can be hard to find until now. And unlike the booster set reprints that kicked off our anniversary last July, Retro Pack will be as retro as we can make it. The original card frames and card look, plus the original card names and texts. It's a time capsule from the past, all the way down to the special limited edition labeling on Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. The drop rates for the foil cards are double that of the original version, so it will be twice as easy to get foil cards. So,
can I just say something?
Yeah,
guys, this is that. This is the Yugi Boomer set. Yo, if you have a boomer in your life and you need to get them something, it's the retro pack.
Yeah.
Is that set.
I was looking at the Retro Pack set list just to remind myself, and you're 100% right. To me, Retro Pack's set list is like exactly what people remember of like kind of old school Yu-Gi-Oh!
Without the BS.
Without the filler. Because like, we had this conversation when we first read about this. Releasing like LOB again and MRD and like Spell Ruler, all that stuff.
Like it's cool.
It's cool, but there is a bit of an issue with it. LOB is like fun to look at from the outside, right? Oh, cool. It's like the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Set. Then you open it and you kind of realize this is 800 attack point normal monsters and shitty equip spells.
It's like 90% of the set is garbage, and you have to ride the high of seeing like Giant Soldier of Stone or Monster
Guy
Reborn.
of the Fierce Knight, maybe
and like,
Blue Eyes, but like
there's probably only like a couple of those even in an entire box.
Yeah, and so what's cool about Retro Pack?
Better get you some Skull Redbirds.
Yeah, the cool thing about Retro Pack is like it's just the highlights. It's just those iconic old monsters. It's just stuff like Mystic Tomato Sangan and like Breaker the Magical Warrior and Scapegoat.
Like, the worst cards in the set are anime cards.
Yeah, and I think this is actually a really good release. Like there's been some controversy because some people feel like, well, this sort of diminishes the value of the originals, especially if they're gonna kind of like have the same print style and stuff. But I don't care. It
can be, I guess, for collectors that might be a tad bit annoying. But as long as they don't have the edition thing on them,
I think that you'll be able to tell based on like the silver versus the gold little tiny stamp in the corner. Okay. That's always been like a way to differentiate like original print versus not. I just think that this is a net win. In my opinion, this is what they should have released last year.
Right.
Like instead of the Legendary Collection reprint box, which was like,
I mean,
not to say that it was bad.
It was fine. This is better.
But this is better. Like getting Retro Pack is like just really
honestly
good.
With this, they should never reprint these cards ever again. Retro Pack can be
it. That would be fine.
Like I'm probably gonna have a few, even though I have a lot of these cards. I'm gonna want to have some Retro Pack on deck just because it'll
just be really fun. It'll be a fun trip down memory lane. I think doubling the foil rate. That's also what I was saying they needed to do.
With the LOB
with the other
stuff.
It's like if you're gonna be charging like the MSRP price for this stuff, like these cards, which like we said, all those cards from Spell Ruler and Metal Raiders and all that, they're not playable today. You were looking for some specific GOAT cards and like maybe a couple anime cards, and that's it. Everything else in those sets just is not applicable. So I think it would be nice if those sets were cheaper, or alternatively, at least increase the pull rates such that like you're realistically just getting good, juicy, like, exciting openings.
Big Johnny doesn't want... Yeah, he just wants to pull Blue Eyes because he remembers
Johnny.
That. Well, I used to say Little Jimmy.
Back when he was Little Jimmy,
but now he's Big Johnny.
So his name changed.
Big Johnny, he wants to pull a Blue Eyes White Dragon from Legend of Blue Eyes because that's what I remember doing as a kid.
Yeah.
And if the pull rate is exactly the same...
Yeah,
he will not be able to get that hit of nostalgia from buying into the set. I mean, you'd ask, you want him to buy 2 boxes of this ancient set at $34?
Yeah, I think that this was honestly like this is a good call.
Yeah,
there are some of these like reprints that have me a little bit more like redoing the Lightsworn structure. That's a structure that's getting reprinted soon. I'm mixed on it. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Like you just don't have to buy it if you don't want to. But it's like okay.
No, I'm a little mixed. I'm actually more mixed on that product than I was before, because with the printing of Raiko and Charge of the Light Brigade, in Rarity Collection 2.
It feels a little...
I'm like, golly, so what are we getting this deck for again?
A hair redundant. I think it's just a way to get Michael.
It's like, yeah, Michael.
The Michael, like, synchro or whatever.
And then, I guess, Raiden. But Raiden was reprinted in something
Raiden has so many
too.
reprints. Yeah, he's a guy.
Yeah, so
he was just in Battles of Legend.
Michael and Minerva? Like Little Minerva?
Yeah, Michael and main deck Minerva, I think are the only cards in this structure that you'd really want to get. So
I do like that Little Minerva is more useful than ever now, but still.
Yeah, so they also revealed the playmat and date for the premiere event of Infinite Forbidden, July 13th and 14th. Going to be very cool.
It's going to be fire.
Actually, a really cool Exodia playmat. I know typically these like sneak peek mats aren't usually worth loads, but this is a very neat design. Like, it's Exodia on it, so.
There are not that many mats that feature Exodia in the game, so. And, we got to use official mats at these large events from now on, guys, so.
Yeah, you might as well start grabbing them now,
Get them now.
Okay. That's all the, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! News that I've really seen. One last thing. I've seen these cool Hypeland caps that they've made. Like, there's a slide.
Oh, yeah, I saw the social media pictures of those.
Yeah, they look really nice. Pick those up if you haven't, or take a look at them at least if you haven't seen them already. Shout outs to them. Hypeland stuff's always really great. So that's all the Yu-Gi-Oh! News. I was going to bring up one other story, though, that was just like a personal anecdote of mine.
Uh-oh.
So over on APS Amplifier, that's actually the channel you're watching this on if you're on YouTube, I uploaded a video the other day where I was like, that went a little awry.
What you say wrong?
Yeah, so I made a video where I was explaining my my thought process that like players quit duels too easily, particularly like on Master Duel.
Oh, well, you're wrong. So that's why, yeah,
right.
I can see why that went wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I think players kind of give up duels too easily, which is still, I think it's true. Like, I think that a lot of people, I've been doing the Master Duel climb. I got to Master Rank 1 actually just the other night on Master Duel. Hooray.
It's honestly less impressive. I've seen you do it like
every time. I do it like every season now, but yeah, people just give up a lot. Like, people will give me free wins because something resolves that they don't like or, whatever. And then they'll just, like, give up. And I'm just like, oh, well, thanks. I guess I'll take the freebie. But I kind of have a personal stance of, like, I really fight tooth and nail for, like, my wins or losses. I've clawed back a lot of games that seemed hopeless from, sort of the bowels of defeat and still managed to win. And you're saying where a lesser man may have given in. And so I think that a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players don't have, or seemingly don't have, like, quite the same constitution about it, or at least not the same mindset. So I was reading the comments, and people were, like, really upset about this. They weren't, like, mad at me. Like, more so they were just like, I think the charitable interpretation of a lot of the comments I read was, I don't have the time. Like, I don't have the time to sit through
to be good at Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to sit through, like, this 10-minute turn. Like, I'm just going to quit and go to the next game. And part of me wants to be like, well, you're wrong. But I get it. I do. I think that for a lot of people, Master Duel is kind of a way to relax and unwind after, like, a day of work. Or maybe, you don't have, like, you have, like, limited time to play. And so if you see that your opponent's going to do, like, a crazy combo or whatever, it's just better to maybe quit, go to the next game, and enjoy the limited Master Duel time that you have. However, the angle I was kind of coming at it from is, if you really want to, like, if every win matters a lot to you, and you're kind of playing to improve and to learn, I think that there are real benefits in, like, sticking it out in those games, not giving up just because someone dropped a max C on you, not giving up because you played an imperm against their thing and they chained something and your imperm fizzled or whatever, right? Or you played something in the imperm column and you forgot. Still, you gotta, like, kind of stick with those games because you can still potentially win those and learn a lot in the process of doing it. And that was what I hoped to get across. I don't think I did a good enough job of maybe setting the stage for it, or maybe my wording was a bit off, or maybe it's just actually the truth that, like, sometimes I'm starting to think like I might actually be the weird one because I'm, like, willing to wait through a long turn and try to break a board and try to, like, really force my opponent to beat me fully before I give up. And that might put me in, like, more of a minority.
Well,
Your thoughts?
I think there's plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh players that understand exactly what you're saying right now. I think the issue you ran into is that our audience, we play Yu-Gi-Oh for fun. Unlike the rest of you crazies, we just enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. Like when we're on Master Duel, we're not trying to be the best there ever was. We're not. Most of us aren't in Master 1. And if we are, we're there because we got forced to rank up a bunch of times.
Yeah, that's true.
So to a lot of us, we don't care how far we rank up. We don't care how good my opponent thinks I am. I'm trying to have some fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh! My max C got negated, and now it's been 7 minutes. I'm turning it off. I'm gonna start a new game. I'm gonna do something else.
Yeah, that's a lot of what people said, and I think maybe in that way, I think there's probably a mismatch between like the way that I approach Master Duel and maybe the way that a lot of other people do.
The way you play Master Duel is not the way, like, the type of content that we make and the way that we enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh is not how you play Master Duel.
That's actually that was something I really learned is like, it got me thinking that there are a lot of people. This is more personal than I typically get on this podcast.
Oh, here we go.
A lot of people don't actually really know like how much I really like playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like a lot.
You think they'd know after the Invitational?
Yeah, I think the Invitational actually opened some people's eyes to it, like that Master Duel Invitational, where like I was able to pull out a win against Paulo, or yeah, and so that was really cool. I think a lot of people were very surprised that like, wow, I didn't know he knew how to fucking play this game. I thought all Paul and Alec do is play eBay decks and and other garbage from Walmart or whatever the other day, but I actually really, really take Yu-Gi-Oh when I'm like in the duel. Once I've like, gotten all the cards together and I've built the decks and studied, when I'm in the duel, like it's all in. And it's kind of, there's a switch though, where it's like when I'm doing these like, these videos, it's like, let's kind of silly, it's fun. We'll kind of mess around, make some mistakes, whatever, whatever happens. I'm going to play a weird random deck. But I think when I'm like playing, I do want to like enjoy the full scope of like the duel. And I'm very much like an advocate of, I'll play like the worst matchups and like really try to grind them down to like increase what is like there was a joke or something we were talking about the other day, or like I was playing against your Ancient Gear deck, right?
Yeah.
And you were just like, yeah, I just think like these Ancient Gears kind of suck, like in terms of, the big scheme of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, I can't wait till they get added to Master Duel. Because if they get added to Master Duel, I would take a deck like Ancient Gears. It's not that consistent and it's kind of clunky. And I would still I think I could get to Master 1 with it. Because I'm like stubborn and I will try to do the most that I can possibly do to like mitigate bad matchups, make it as hard as possible for my opponent to win. There was like a duel I played in Master Duel the other day against like some weird burn deck, because it's been popping up more and more, where, I was able to like outburn a burn deck using some Vanquish Soul cards, or like I was able to like deal with some plasma deck by bouncing my Heavy Borger after using its effect so it wouldn't be negated by plasma. I had to do that 4 different times to finally get this guy's life points down. I played against one Barrier Statue stun deck that had me dead to rights. I didn't give up and I used, Vanquish Soul, like Dr. Madlove. I continuously spammed her effect to reduce the attack of his monster by 500, turn over turn, until I was eventually able to beat over their cards without special summoning. Like,
I'll tell you what this is, Paul.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
A little bit,
like,
yeah.
And it's not even an insult. There's people who like things. There are people who are obsessed with things. And then there are people who are a little crazy. Those are the people who are typically especially good at any game or sport that they play. I've known you for a long time, and you're a little crazy. When we play outside of this channel, I always call it. When I see you thinking about plays, I'm like, oh, there you go, squeezing water out of stone again.
But that's what I don't.
Because Paul, there's been many times that we have played, and I've hit you with a combo or a play that anybody else would have just surrendered, but you don't like to surrender.
Yeah, I'm not big on it. I'm not.
And then you like maneuver your way into some like annoying 50-50s for me to take. And next thing you know, I lose. And I'm like, this has happened so many times. Paul like weasels his way out of bad situations, waits for me to make a mistake, and then I lose.
The thing is, I don't believe in giving my opponent wins that they do not fully earn on their own. Like, I'm not giving up until we have reached, like, the battle phase of the final attack. Because you just don't know. Like, I know it seems like there's so many situations that are just hopeless. So it's like, oh, okay, they have Barone and their other negates in the field, and they've got their Colossus and everything else, and you can't do anything. But, like, I've had people just negate the wrong stuff. Like, I'll play something trying to bait them, and they'll, like, take the bait, or they'll negate the wrong thing. And there's so many little checkmate scenarios people don't know. I do matchup knowledge checks. I do, like, you know, I exploit small little, like, rulings and priority and stuff on Master Duel. Like, I'll do everything to not lose a duel. And I think that it's less a matter of, like, I'm guaranteed to win by doing that, but more so that I'm making sure they have to, like, pry the win out of my cold, dead hands first. And for me, that's gratifying. Like, because it's like, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So sometimes if I give up, well, okay, I just automatically lose that duel. If I don't give up, there's a chance I win it. And usually in winning those duels, that's when you find out the, like, really fringe edge case things. Like, I didn't know this card worked this way, or these two cards interacted, because you never see it. And then once I see that stuff, I don't forget it. So now it's like, oh, okay, someone else is playing that same gimmick deck 50 games later. It's my first time seeing it since then, but I remember. I remember how I beat it last time. I know what my out will be this time. But I don't think that all came across in the video. So
no,
people didn't like it. I don't know how I'm going to.
I think if you made that video on a different channel for like a more crazy audience, because crazy Yu-Gi-Oh players do exist. You are not alone, but our audience is not crazy like that. We're just
I think the average person
they're a little bit better than me. They're not as bad as I am, but
You're not bad.
They're a little bit better than I am, but like we're all just regular. You know, we don't.
I know.
Because like that, Paul, I can't tell you how much I hate it when I made a good play and I just see you start thinking and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna break my board.
And I guess like when I say it like that, it makes it sound like I'm being uppity. Like I get that I am maybe a little bit thrown off, right? Like I don't think I should expect everybody to be as like willing to sit through.
But I think your point is that you're playing it in Master 1 on Master Duel, you would expect for more of your opponents to sink into the depths of Yu-Gi-Oh with you.
Because I want to dance. I want to dance. When we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, like let's go the distance. Let's like exploit all of our cards. We're gonna squeeze water from rocks.
Just like, go play in the Duelist Cup, you competitive bastard.
That's the thing. It's like because I want to play, but I want to do that just in like I like that all the time. Like I like playing ladder like that. It's fun. But I get it. I think that was my big epiphany is just that like most people are honestly just they kind of want
trying to have a good time, man.
They want to win the coin flip. Yep. Go first, do their thing, have it not get interrupted,
and then leave.
And like win and leave. And so I get it. I understand.
If I could just do that 50 times in a row so I can max out the dual pass, that'd be great.
Yeah, so
I would. You know how much Yu-Gi-Oh I would play if I could guarantee I go first every game.
Oh yeah, I think everybody would love it. I should get to go first all the time.
And let me open Called by the Grave. That's it. Let me go first and open Called by. I would never stop playing. I'd always be playing.
Okay, that's enough Yu-Gi-Oh for today, I think.
Judging from what I've heard today, there's never enough Yu-Gi-Oh.
Never quite enough, but okay. We have stories.
Yes, I don't have any card game stories. I actually didn't find any this time.
So a quick update to the Pokemon story from last week.
Question, because I've wanted to ask this many times: is it Pokemon or Pokemon? Because
I thought it's Pokemon.
Because it's Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Okay, so there's 3 different pronunciations running around?
That was my understanding of it.
Because I've heard so many people say Pokemon and like Pokemon, and now you're saying Pokemon.
That's a great... People in chat, Pokemon, what?
Is Pokemon, or Pokemon?
I thought it was Pokemon. Like, Pokemon, because that's the accent. Pokemon.
Oh, that's an interesting point. I never thought about the accent.
Like the accent mark, but maybe not.
Guys, tell us. I mean, because what Pokemon is supposed to be like pocket monsters, right? None of those quite sound like pocket monsters. So, what is the right way to pronounce it? I want to know.
Yeah. So, anyways, last week we talked about how they are buying graded Pokemon cards.
Yes.
Well, Leonhardt and several other PokeTube channels did, like, they went to GameStop and sold some cards to them to find out a little bit more. And he got basically $157 worth from GameStop for cards that were worth about $328. So he did not get a great,
Yeah, that's rough.
He didn't get a great takeaway.
He actually went through with the sale, though? That's crazy.
Yeah, Pokemon trading card collector and YouTuber Leon Hart, or Lee Steinfeld, visited a GameStop in a mall near Dallas, Texas, one of the few test sites for the new initiative. Greeting the poor employee in the morning right when the store opened, he turned over a bunch of cards. This is funny. I watched the video, and the employee did not seem to have hadn't gotten the training yet for how to, like, take in, like, there's a new system they have to use to, like, scan the cards and, like, inspect them and see if they're legit and real and all that stuff. So, yeah, he didn't get very much money from them. It seemed like it's kind of a bit, I don't want to say random as to what the price will be, because sometimes they offer good prices that are more than what you might be able to, like, get from eBay, and then other times it's, like, not. So, that was just kind of cool. I saw that he had done it. I also got to speak with a GameStop, like, it's a kind of a regional
propagandist
manager.
Oh, yeah.
A regional manager from a GameStop who just sort of explained a little bit more about the process and how it works.
So they taught you the scam.
Well, it's not a scam.
Oh, okay.
But for instance, they were just saying how, like, the reason they have a $500 cap, there's, like, they won't buy cards worth more than $500, is actually just so they don't run out of money in the, like, register, because that could theoretically happen. There are a lot of Pokemon cards that are worth, like, thousands. And so he was saying that it's just to, like, keep the stores from giving out all the money they have in the safe or in the register.
Makes sense.
PSA sets the prices that they buy the cards for. So GameStop, I guess, is given special pricing from PSA.
But PSA does have, like, their own established going rates, right?
I think so. So these might be slightly different. I mean, I guess the idea is that they probably want to buy a little bit low and, like, sell a little bit maybe higher. I don't know exactly. But yeah, GameStop isn't setting the prices. They don't control any of their trade values.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was something sort of interesting that he'd said. And also, they are, part of the reason why they're doing this is because card grading is down about 30% year over year. So they're doing this to
trying to revitalize the industry.
Right.
Get some new grades coming in. But this, I still have to ask this question, because we already know that GameStop is not doing any grading, they're not going to send your cards in to be graded. If I open up a pack and get a nice new card, and I'm like, oh, I want to sell it, but they're like, oh, we only buy PSA graded cards. When I sell you this card, am I going to get back how much I paid to grade it in the first place?
I guess it just depends on the card, because, like, I mean, the grading service is, like, a static thing. Like, I think the price of getting a card graded is basically static unless it's, like, over a certain threshold. So, like, if getting your card graded costs maybe, like, $20, I'm just throwing a price out there, I don't know exactly how much, then you would want to get a card graded if it's worth more than, like, 20. Or really, in this case, maybe worth more than, like, 40, let's say.
Because, it would be weird if the card's worth $21, right? Assuming it's a PSA grade, let's say 9.5. Do they do halves in PSA?
I think so,
I think they do halves. Yeah, but, like, if it costs $20 to grade it, your profit being $1, I don't even know. It just wouldn't be worth it. It would have to be some significant amount of money. So I don't know. I don't know if it's in your best interest to actually grade a card unless it's a especially valuable card.
Yeah.
Which I guess has been the case in the past.
It's always been the case.
So nothing really changes, does it?
Not really. I think they're just trying to kind of get people to grade cards more.
GameStop needs to find some more purpose. PSA needed some type of a partner that has multiple locations where they could push this initiative. And really, that way, it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's another thing about it that I kind of hadn't considered is, like, well, obviously there are card shops that, like, buy and sell kind of PSA graded stuff, but typically those card shops are operating independently and they're just setting their own prices and all. By partnering with GameStop, it's a much larger, it's a retail chain that, yes, like you said, they can guarantee that it's, like, in pretty much every city's got, like, a GameStop, or major city's got a GameStop. So, and he was just sort of saying, like, they, I think, are going to be expanding later in the year to, like, Pops and comics and stuff, where you can get, like, buy and sell, I guess, graded ones. So that's going to be a thing. What are you thinking? Looks like you're thinking.
Well, it gives me business ideas because this is once again a reminder to everybody involved here that GameStop is desperate, and they'll try a little bit of everything. If you're like an independent like creator of some type of product, let's say you make deck boxes or something, maybe you reach out to GameStop and see if they'll carry your product. I mean, they'll clearly try just about anything. They have
Alec doesn't have much faith in GameStop.
They have storefronts everywhere. Like GameStop has no reason not to try.
I did also hear that they're going to be doing Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh down the line, or maybe now.
Like PSA graded Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh
cards for them too.
Okay.
So just some cool updates on it. I mean,
You gonna sell them yours?
I have 2 graded Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I don't currently intend to sell. If I had more like graded cards, I would like to try it. I'm just not actually into the grading thing personally. I think that the practice is actually really cool. I know a lot of people think it's just blasphemy. Like they hate it because of the 2020 boom and all of that did for.
You sealed my card in plastic. I'm so angry.
Yeah, so I thought people might like these updates. If anybody who's listening has like a GameStop that's doing this and has tried it out, I would like to hear.
We want to hear the good stories and the horror stories.
Yeah, like was it good? Was it bad? What did you make? Were you able to, did you feel that was worth it?
Did you flip the money you made selling your cards and buy more PSA graded cards to help keep the economy going?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't even know if they're actually selling the graded cards yet.
Oh,
I think they're just taking them in right now, and then they're trying to like accumulate a supply and then start selling, I think.
Man, all those people that got busted trying to steal Pokemon cards in the last year, they should have just waited.
Yeah, just wait and you can sell them to your local GameStop.
There's GameStops everywhere, man. Like, just cross the state border and there's a GameStop.
Yeah, across the city border, really. But, okay, cool. So that's the only other card game story I could find. So it sounds like you don't really have anything?
I actually do not. I am sorry.
Cool, that's all right. We can move on to other stories.
All right.
You got anything fun for us? I've got plenty, so.
So, this is one I want to start off with is because it's the one that has me most excited. If I can get it to open.
Excited?
Oh, to some degree.
So I got an announcement?
So,
not just bad news for a change?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone Season 4 is having a Gundam crossover. Oh. Yeah, we're getting Gundam skins in Call of Duty. I haven't played Call of Duty since.
Yeah.
What's the one on PS3?
Yeah, I don't know. You played the Ghost in the Shell collab, like the Call of Duty Mobile?
Yeah, on Call of Duty Mobile, I did the Ghost in the Shell collab. Look, I buy into collabs. Like,
yeah,
that Fortnite marketing style was made for like goobers like me who just say, "Ooh, my favorite
my
IP,"
favorite thing is there.
And I just go.
So you're gonna be playing this Gundam.
Oh yeah. Like,
What's
I have not touched.
What's in it?
There's I've only seen like 4 skins. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how much there's going to be this season. But there is a RX-78, that's the Grandpa Gundam. There's the Red Zaku, that's Char's Gundam. There's the Gundam Aerial, which this is a surprise too. And then, what was the 4th one? I've already forgotten what it was. I saw one more, but it escapes me, and for some reason I can't find the picture that I saw that had all of them. But anyway, yeah, cool. It has Gundam skins. They look weird, but also they're Gundam, so I'll deal with it. I don't care.
No, that's cool. I not as big of a Gundam head, so I can't always recognize them. I think it's cool though when Gundam gets collabs like this. So the skins are there like mechs in the game?
No.
Or is it just for your character?
It looks like your character just becomes a Gundam.
Oh, so you're like a kind of just human-sized Gundam running around.
Yep. This complete nonsense. To be fair, you could also be like Nicki Minaj and stuff in like was it Warzone? Yeah. So
21 Savage, I think, is in there too.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's been nonsense for a long time now. It just continues.
I mean, I think they're realizing now that like if Fortnite can do it. Didn't Fortnite get Kingdom Hearts recently? Was that an announcement?
What?
I seen memes about this. Wait a second. Hold on. I don't have a story about this. I'm going to look this up.
I mean, I would hope so. I play Fortnite all the time. Like if they're getting Kingdom Hearts,
or did I just be like memes that?
But while you look it up, I can also bring up the fact that they've been teasing Fortnite's new season, and it seems to be a collaboration with Fallout, and I think Mad Max. I think they're going for this like post-apocalyptic vibe next season. So if you know, if you're into
it got
that,
leaked by an insider that Kingdom Hearts is going to be in Fortnite.
Ooh, Sora's gonna be shooting guns.
Yeah.
Boy, Sora gonna turn that Keyblade sideways.
It's kind of interesting. I guess it makes a lot of sense because
Like,
Fortnite's working with Disney now. So
yeah, that's
Kingdom
true.
Hearts,
Kingdom
Disney,
Hearts,
it's
Disney.
probably they made it happen.
Match made in heaven, I guess.
I guess if that's the case, we can continue with some more gaming stories.
Yeah, okay.
There have been a few.
What you got?
This is sort of something of a follow-up, I guess, to what we sort of knew like last week. Half of PlayStation players still haven't upgraded to PS5. So the PS5 is 4 years into its life cycle, but only accounts for half of PlayStation Network users. So the PlayStation 5 has sold just over 59 million units since it launched in 2020, which is slightly less than the PS4 sales in the same time frame, as it sold roughly 60 million consoles 4 years into its life cycle. And from the sound of it, those PlayStation 5s only account for roughly half of PlayStation's active online user base. So according to Sony, PlayStation Network had 118 million active users as of March 31st, 2024. So the PlayStation 5 install base accounts for exactly half that total, meaning the other 59 million must still be using the PlayStation 4 because you can't use a PS3 on it. And it takes time for people to adopt new console hardware, but laying out the divide between PS4 and PS5 users in such a clear numbers during what Sony calls the lighter stage of the PS5's lifecycle puts things into perspective.
Okay, I do think this is a bit overblown.
I agree.
Because it actually makes perfect sense that there still be plenty of PS4 owners that haven't upgraded to the PS5, because even in the later stage of the PS4's lifetime, it was still being sold quite a bit at discounted prices. There were people who did not pay full price for a PS4, and so they're definitely not paying full price for a PS5. And the PS5, given my understanding, has not come down in price much.
Yeah, I actually have two big things about this story that kind of don't make a lot of sense to me, or they make sense, but I think people are interpreting the data maybe the wrong way. So they say the PlayStation 5 has sold over 59 million units since its launch, which is slightly less than the PS4's 60 million.
Right. That's nothing.
I mean, that is nothing.
And that doesn't help make their point.
Yeah, that doesn't make any argument the PS5 is this failure, or that next gen gaming's been a whole flop. No, I mean 59 to 60 that's within margin of error.
Yeah, it sounds like adoption rate for the PS5 is actually about
surprisingly
what you
good, given that it costs more than what the PS4 would have cost at that time. So I don't think that that's really a bad thing. It's just, and like you said, I mean, I think we're probably hitting the stage now where the PS5 could expect a price drop probably in time for the holidays this year, especially because they're supposed to be announcing a PS5 Pro or equivalent
once
thing.
the PS5's price goes down, a lot of those PS4 owners are going to upgrade right there.
And that's smart because paying $500, or I know the discless version's $450 or whatever.
But for a lot of people, that's still just
that's expensive. It's
too much.
So why not wait? I think that whenever they release this Pro, I don't know how much it's going to cost. It might be $550 or something. I think they will lower the price of the base ones. And I think
there's going to be a lot of people selling their base PS5s to upgrade to Pros.
A lot more used ones, yeah. And so I think that's the point where the average person who was looking at a PS5, but just I'll stick with my PS4, because a lot of games are cross-platform right now.
A lot of games don't even deserve a PS5 logo.
Yeah, and so now they'll be okay, now it's time for me to upgrade. So I don't know. I saw this story, and I know a lot of people are taking it as next gen is just having such a tough time sticking. And don't get me wrong, I do think that
there are problems.
This kind of
That's a
this
fact.
new gen of consoles with it's weird to call them new. I mean, it came out almost 4 years ago now.
Right.
But they've had some troubles with getting the games out due to the cost of producing the games themselves, and other issues in the gaming industry. But I don't know. I don't think that this is as bad as doomer as maybe it looks on the surface.
Yeah, it's an interesting headline, but a tad misleading.
Yeah, not a terribly. Yeah, it just kind of is what it is. Any gaming stories? Are there stuff from you?
So this is less of a story, more so of it's an announcement. But so Kingdom Hearts is coming to Steam.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. A lot of people saw it coming.
Is that already on Steam?
No.
Okay.
So they are bringing the entire Kingdom Hearts series onto Steam in the way that only Kingdom Hearts can, because those games have been made, then remade, then compiled so many times.
That's true.
So to be exact, we're getting Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 final chapter prologue, Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind DLC. And you can also get all of that in one in Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece, which is all of those together.
Do you ever feel like Kingdom Hearts is just a little... Okay, I know that it's a meme to say, oh, Kingdom Hearts story is so complicated and hard to understand. And
just the math here was a little confusing. It's more like,
I think that they just, with these remakes and like, they just need to find better naming schemes.
Yeah, because like, what is 1.5 plus 2.5 remix? That means 4. 1.5 plus 2.5 is like 4.
Remix, what is that? It's like, so it's like 1.5, it sounds like it's not 1, but then it's also a remix of that?
No, well, it was... there was 1.5, but then 2.5, then there was 2.5 remix. So instead of getting just base 2.5, you're getting 2.5 remix plus 1.5.
Oh, so
or am I wrong?
Is not remixed.
I have no idea if that was even correct.
You're the one who's played Kingdom Hearts. I haven't even played it.
I played Kingdom Hearts 1. I played Kingdom Hearts 2. I played Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I played Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. I played Kingdom Hearts 3. Actually, I lied. I'm going to be very clear, guys. I'm a liar.
Okay.
I played 2 boss fights of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I played parts of the Frozen level, and then the final boss in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, I know, like Alex played a lot of.
I have watched Kingdom Hearts. I have not played a lot.
Well. Listen, now you can get it all on Steam.
I don't even understand the story.
I remember when we went to a PAX and we went to a panel that was like explaining the Kingdom Hearts story.
Oh yeah, you fell asleep.
I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Now, for what it's worth, it wasn't the panel that put me to sleep. I was already tired, but it was very. I was like, okay, this is.
I think the only Kingdom Hearts games I played the full way through was the first one, Chain of Memories and Dream Drop Distance. The other ones, I found it. Alex was more excited for those games than I was, and I would just kind of like, I'd leave the room and just check in on him. I'd be like,
see what's going on.
Oh, what's Riku doing over there? Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Hey, is Cloud in this game? No? Okay, bye. That was how it went.
And so we still haven't gotten any more information about Kingdom Hearts 4, have we?
Shh, don't you put Square on the spot like that. You know they're a small independent team.
Well, from what we know of last week, it sounds like maybe Kingdom Hearts 4 will be on it'll be like multi-console. It'll be like on PC, Xbox,
I mean,
PlayStation.
It does sound like Square is no longer beholden to Sony, which is a huge departure for them, but I think that's a good thing overall, right?
Sure.
Cuz they have this weird like console exclusivity thing that they've done for a long time. Remember Like at one point they were almost only Sony games, but then I remember they made Blue Dragon.
Yeah,
and then Blue Dragon was only on Xbox.
Yeah, that was an exclusive deal. I think that like Xbox, and Microsoft kind of made a deal with them, like, hey, make an RPG just for our console, which was a good one. Blue Dragon was good.
Yeah, Blue Dragon was a good game. I mean, I wouldn't know that because I didn't get to play it.
Yeah, you might not have. I think like Square is finding now in the modern gaming landscape, since like Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth, they said in this interview that like they underperformed in sales. And
you know what they're not gonna underperform in sales? Kingdom Hearts on Steam. That game's about to do numbers.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts on Steam will probably be pretty popular. But the thing is, I think they're realizing we cannot put this many development resources into games and then have them only be on like the PS5, because that's limiting the amount of sales you can get. Like, things have to be on the Xbox or maybe even on the Switch or like on the PC, so you can get the maximum amount of people. So, and
what my favorite thing about a move like this, because I mean, we've had consoles, so we all know the struggle of you have these games you played on your PS2, your PS3, your PS4, loved them to death. Well, now you have a PS5, and you're not buying those games again for the PS5 even if they even have a port. So a lot of those games just kind of get lost in your like just in a drawer somewhere, never to be played again. But Kingdom Hearts coming to Steam is such a nice thing, because it's one of those series that people would love to revisit those games again. And then, but like now you have them for pretty much forever. I mean, I know
Yeah.
Steam might one day disappear.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem feasible right now, but it's one
knows?
day, you know,
Who
it
knows?
probably goes. But for now, if you get Kingdom Hearts on Steam right now, for the first time ever, you'll have Kingdom Hearts, and it's yours. It's not going anywhere. It doesn't matter what hardware or software changes in the future. You have it.
Cool.
Assuming you have Steam in your country.
Any other gaming stories
Yeah, where is it?
before we take our hard pivot into darker territory?
Darker territory. Yikes. Well, okay, this one's not gaming.
That's all right.
But it's kind of just funny.
Okay.
'Cause I was looking up Gundam stuff earlier.
Okay. I've got some funny ones too.
So, man attends wedding as Mobile Suit Gundam after friend asks him to wear a suit.
Attends wedding as Mobile Suit Gundam.
That was the title of the article.
Okay.
But essentially, a man goes to a wedding wearing an RX-78 costume. That's the original Gundam.
Yeah. I
Because
finally
he
learned
was
that
asked
now,
to.
that like RX-78 is like the
Most people don't know that, so I wouldn't even. You should not feel bad not knowing the designation of the original Gundam, because for the vast majority of people who even watched the original Gundam series, it was just called Gundam or the Gundam or the White Devil, like, you know. But it was, you know, you didn't really refer to it as that. But if you've watched many Gundam series, you have to come up with a way to distinguish that one versus all the others. So you call it the RX-78, but technically it's the RX-78-2. It's not the 1. It's not the 3. It's the RX-78.
Are there pictures of this guy?
Yep.
I want to see.
He wore a mobile suit to the wedding.
He's got the glass of wine in his.
Yeah, he actually went to the suit dressed up as a Gundam. Now, I don't know if everyone thought it was as funny as he thought it was.
I think a lot of people got a picture or a video.
All I know is I've seen certain brides and certain brides' families that if someone did that,
No, they probably wouldn't be.
the wedding would be over.
Would you do that? You're a big Gundam fan.
Man, I love Gundam.
If you were invited to a wedding and you knew that the friend who's getting married liked Gundam a lot, and that was like how you two met. That's how you met the friend. Would you dress up in an RX-78?
I don't want to get stabbed.
Okay, I don't think they're gonna stab you. They might just send you out.
There's a lot of people who take weddings so seriously.
Yeah.
My life would be in mortal peril.
Would you do it for your own wedding? Like, would you, like, I want to have a Gundam wedding. Would you do such a thing?
Can I defeat the bride's father in armed combat?
Maybe.
Because that's how I make this decision.
You're in a Gundam suit, so yeah, you can.
Like, oh yeah, I'll be in a
Gundam
mobile
suit,
suit.
yeah,
You know, I got my weapons.
suit.
No, I'm not doing
Have
it.
your sword?
I'm not doing it.
You don't think so?
I won't take my life into my own hands like that.
Okay. Well, viewers, what about you? Would you dress up in a mobile suit costume? Right. Anywho.
It's like, you know, to me, I think wearing a mobile suit is business casual, but, you know, teach their own.
See, and so you say that, but then you won't wear it to a wedding.
I mean, I'd wear it to a business casual event, but not to a wedding.
Well,
I'd be too scared.
I've got AI stories.
Here
these get fun.
Go.
You probably heard about the OpenAI thing. In fact, you definitely did because you brought the story up last week.
There's new information?
Yeah, ChatGPT 4.0, whatever, that's the new thing. And you know how we remarked on how the voice sounded a little flirty and almost like Scarlett Johansson?
Did we say that?
I think you might have mentioned it. A lot of people made the connection anyway. Well, Scarlett Johansson told OpenAI not to use her voice, and it did anyway. So,
Wait, that was Scarlett Johansson's voice? Wait a minute.
Something like it.
I'm booting that up right now.
Well, Scarlett Johansson says that OpenAI asked her to be the voice behind ChatGPT, but then when she declined, the company went ahead and created a voice that sounded just like her. In a statement shared to NPR, Johansen says that she has now been forced to hire legal counsel and has sent 2 letters to OpenAI inquiring how the sound-alike ChatGPT voice known as Sky was made. That's the voice.
Yeah.
His name was Sky. It sounded a little flirty, and some people said horny. Last September, I received an offer from Sam Altman, who wanted to hire me to voice the current ChatGPT 4.0 system, Johansen writes. She says that Altman contacted her agent as recently as 2 days before the company first demoed the ChatGPT voice asking for her to reconsider. Altman has made it clear that he admires Johansen's work. He said that that film Her, which features Johansen as an AI voice assistant, was his favorite film. After the ChatGPT event last week, he posted the word her.
Okay.
It's kind of creepy and obsessive feeling, but seemingly in reference to the voice demo the company presented, which featured an assistant that sounded just like Johansen. They say the voice of Sky is not Scarlett Johansen's and it was never intended to resemble hers, which doesn't really add up given that she said that they'd contacted her. But anyway,
yeah, true. It does not add up.
We cast the voice actor behind Sky's voice before any outreach to Miss Johansen. Out of respect for Miss Johansen, we have paused using Sky's voice in our products. We're sorry to Miss Johansen that we didn't communicate better. So they pulled the voice down, but they're claiming it wasn't based on her. But then, why'd they pull it down if
they're
it's not?
lying. That's the simple answer. I mean, it's just a lie.
Yeah, it's very... Here's her full, her full thing. Okay.
Her full, a full figure?
Her full letter.
Boo.
Last September, I received an offer from Sam Altman who wanted to hire me to voice the current ChatGPT 4.0 system. He told me that by my voicing the system, I could bridge the gap between tech companies and creatives and help consumers to feel comfortable with the seismic shift concerning humans and AI.
I do feel like that's exactly what was said.
He said he felt that my voice would be comforting to people.
It comforts
After
him.
much consideration and for personal reasons, I declined the offer. 9 months later, my friends, family, and the general public all noted how much the newest system named Sky sounded like me. When I heard the released demo, I was shocked, angered, and in disbelief that Mr. Altman would pursue a voice that sounded so eerily similar to mine that my closest friends and news outlets could not tell the difference. Mr. Altman even insinuated that the similarity was intentional, tweeting a single word, her, a reference to the film in which I voiced a chat system, Samantha, which forms an intimate relationship with a human. 2 days before the ChatGPT 4.0 demo was released, Mr. Altman contacted my agent asking me to reconsider. Before we could connect, the system was out there. As a result of their actions, I was forced to hire legal counsel, who wrote 2 letters to Mr. Altman and OpenAI, setting out what they had done and asking them to explain the exact process by which they created the Sky voice. Consequently, OpenAI reluctantly agreed to take down the Sky voice. In a time when we're all grappling with deepfakes and the protection of our own likeness, our own work, our own identities, I believe these are questions that deserve absolute clarity. I look forward to a resolution in the form of transparency and the passage of appropriate legislation to help ensure that individual rights are protected. So, that is what she had to say. That's her letter. And OpenAI, they pulled the voice down, but they claim that it didn't use her voice to train itself.
That's called a lie. But
so
okay. It doesn't actually have to be a lie. And what they may have done may not even be a crime.
Yeah.
However, it's real. A lot of this AI stuff is way too murky and hard to call, because, let's say Sam Altman has a thing for Scarlett Johansson. I do too. It's okay. I'm not going to judge him that much. Mm-hmm. However, when he reached out to her to voice the AI and she said no, that should have been the end of it. But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Right? There are people in this world who do impressions. There are people who do impressions so well you can't even tell the difference between the real and the fake.
Yeah.
So let's say Sam Altman and his team, they hire an impersonator of Scarlett Johansson to use as the basis.
Which I imagine they probably did do.
Because I think they knew that if they directly trained their AI off of her voice, that can land them into some legal troubles if they even revealed that they did. I'm not even sure how you could force them to.
Go ahead and finish.
But let's say they just trained it off of this impersonator's impersonation of Scarlett Johansson. At that point, I am on her side. I'd rather her win all of her arguments, even the ones I don't know about. But
it's hard to prove.
If they train that AI off of an impersonation of her, I don't think she has any ground to stand on. That's a tough one.
Well, it sounds like what she's probably really setting out to do here is influence legislation in the future. Because, I mean, it's really terrifying. In this case, she knew that they wanted it to sound like her because they'd reached out in the past. In the future, though, when there's other, actors or voices that they want to impersonate, and they don't reach out to that person. They just skip that step and just use an impersonator, train it on data of that person from interviews and movies and shows, and then just use it. Then they can claim full deniability. Oh, this just happens to kind of resemble. Because like in her case, she knows that they did. But like, what if they do the same with, you know, Morgan Freeman or something like that, and they didn't reach out to
the implications and the precedents that this sets could have huge consequences for anyone in the entertainment industry. Yeah. As you can become the basis of marketing or someone else's product, but you won't get paid, you won't get acknowledgement, and you won't even be able to really prove it. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I remember, like, you know, I watched some more of the demo bits after last week's podcast, and this is not really related to Scarlett Johansson, although I guess it technically is, given that it's her voice. The voice sounds so good. So it's a good voice, but it sounds so horny. Oh, like it's like people on the internet have like legitimately said it sounds kind of like it wants to fuck you. Like it's in a creepy, not great way.
They took it down though, right?
They took it down for now. I mean,
oh, okay.
And I don't know what that means. Like, will they, for now, like, does that mean like in a week it'll be back? But it's very, I guess I get what they're trying to do. They want to like kind of like smooth the tensions. So now like Alec trusts the AI more because it sounds like a girlfriend who's like excited to see him and hear everything he's got to say. And like she's comforting and she's interested in you and you alone. But
dangerous.
I mean, the thing is, it's still an AI. So
it's computer generated dialogue. It's not even real. But
let us continue the dark trek.
We can go deeper.
Yeah, the largest music publisher in the world has sent letters to Google,
UMG,
Microsoft, and OpenAI, Sony Music.
Google,
Microsoft, and OpenAI demanding to know if they've used its songs to develop artificial intelligence systems. Sony Music, which represents artists like Beyonce and Adele, is forbidding anyone from training, developing, or making money from AI using its songs without permission. In a letter sent to more than 700 firms, Sony Music said it has reason to believe that the addresses may already have made unauthorized uses of its music. So, Sony Music has given firms a deadline to respond and says it will enforce its copyright to the full extent permitted by applicable law, such as the EU's upcoming AI Act. So, yeah, this is another kind of step in the...
Right.
You know, or I don't know, you call it the race against AI or the war against it.
It's the capitalistic fight against new technology. And the thing is, I wish them luck. I don't know how you can force these AI companies to provide evidence against themselves like that.
That's the thing, is that I don't say they don't have to be. It's just they'll never.
Like, how do you? I don't know. How do you force them to show the evidence that implicates them?
Yeah.
When there's no greater authority that knows more.
Says that has to be done. Yeah, I think that's why Sony they're sending the letter now to give you the opportunity to, like, you can tell us how you trained your AI, and you don't have to tell us. But if you don't tell us, we're going to go to court, and that's when, like, we'll either force you to, like, tell us, or we're going to find out what the new landscape of legislation looks like in this regard. Because it might not favor Sony. Like, it might just be that, yeah, they don't have to prove it. They can use it, and they don't have to say a word.
Well, the thing is, I don't even know, because with how defending yourself works, if they request certain types of evidence from you, like, we want to know how you train your AI, they could give you everything but the Sony Music Group stuff. It's like, oh yeah, here's what we all train our AI off of. Here's all the data right here, and as you can see, there's nothing from your catalog in here.
Yeah,
and it's like, and what's Sony gonna do and say, no, show us our music. We know you're using it. It's like, I don't tell you guys.
It's gonna be tricky.
Like,
in a letter spanning several pages of demands, Sony Music asks each of the hundreds of addresses to send it. Here's a list. 1, details of songs it owns that were used to train AI systems. 2, how the songs were accessed. For example, through online streaming services. 3, the number of copies made of the songs, whether the copies still exist, and how long they existed for. And 4, why it was necessary for such copies to exist for the amount of time that they did, assuming that they existed in the first place. It said in the letter that a copy could consist of just a portion of a song, and it was willing to come to terms on licensing agreements for future use. So it sounds like Sony is willing to, maybe make agreements where they can license these songs. They probably just want a piece of the pie.
Well, I think it's because Sony knows that they actually can't
Yeah.
enforce much here.
It is unclear whether any of the AI firms contacted did train their tech on music owned by Sony Music, and even if they did, whether any laws have actually been broken. So,
The Sony's just trying to get anything out of this, I think, because if the other option here is that these AI companies just do what they want with their music, then it's best that Sony extends this like olive branch where it's like, but it's also kind of a threat at the same time. But it's still kind of an olive branch. Hey, we don't want to have to go to court. None of us really want to find out how judges are going to rule this. We don't want to spend millions of dollars litigating. Let's just tell me what you did. Just tell me what you did, and we'll come to an agreement, and then we don't have to go through all that ugliness. But if you don't,
yeah. Now there is one other story about OpenAI, because OpenAI in this, they've kind of been the center of a lot of this lately.
I mean, they're the big name in AI.
People don't trust them very much. It seems like at first people maybe did, but the reason why is a lot of employees have been leaving the company publicly as well.
Because of Skynet.
Well, because of Sam Altman to some degree or another. There have been several high-profile departures over the last few months. Like the co-founder and chief scientist at OpenAI left. That was Ilya Sutskever. There's other names that I don't know, and I don't want to offend anybody by trying to pronounce these.
I think the one you said might have offended somebody.
Yeah, I don't want to go any further. But a lot of people have been resigning from the company. For instance, here's one more. Jan Lake, a co-leader in the company's super alignment group, announced that he had resigned from the company. It was his responsibility to ensure the company's AI systems aligned with human interests. So, yeah, that's kind of...
no, that's the worst person.
Yeah, another person, Daniel... I'm just going to say Daniel.
All right, Daniel.
A member of the safety team at OpenAI left the company in February. He has since publicly criticized OpenAI, saying he departed due to losing confidence that it would behave responsibly.
Woo!
So it sounds like a lot of these people are leaving because they're kind of seeing maybe the way that the winds are blowing, that company is willing to get their hands into things that...
They're going to trade humanity, guys. They're going to trade humanity for dollars.
So yeah, that's been a thing. There's one last OpenAI story too.
Oh my gosh!
Any more thoughts on that? Like just on the people leaving?
These are at least the ones that you named. It's like the worst possible things you'd want to hear from these AI companies. The guy in charge of making sure that this aligns with human interests.
It sounds like a movie, doesn't it? Like those science fiction movies where it's like, the scientists tried to warn everybody that this could be dangerous, but the evil CEO took the specimen and used it anyway.
This guy was writing the 3 rules for the robots in iRobot, but they fired him before he could finish. So the robots, in this case, don't have any rules. They can just do what they want.
Well, here's a fun one. Reddit soars after announcing OpenAI deal that allows the use of its data for training AI models. Reddit shares, that is.
No.
Reddit shares surged 11%, this is last Thursday, in extended trading on Thursday after the social media company announced a partnership with OpenAI that will allow the ChatGPT maker to train its artificial intelligence models on Reddit content. So, as part of the deal, OpenAI will gain access to Reddit's Data Application Programming Interface, API, which provides real-time, structured, and unique content from Reddit. So now...
Boy, if they thought... AI go on these random racist rants before, based on our Reddit, woo!
CEO Steve Huffman said, Reddit has become one of the internet's largest open archives of authentic, relevant, and always up-to-date human conversations about anything and everything.
And hate speech.
And all of that. Including it in ChatGPT upholds our belief in a connected internet, helps people find more of what they're looking for, and helps new audiences and find community on Reddit. So, I guess OpenAI can now use all the conversations, good and bad, from Reddit to train AI models. I think this is probably a little bit relevant because, a lot of people like to use Reddit as a, it's kind of seen as the only good search.
Yeah, people use Reddit for reviews and stuff.
Reviews, because you add Reddit to the end of your search query because anything else from Google these days is just kind of garbage muck
Just marketing.
SEO bait stuff. So I guess by training ChatGPT on like Reddit threads, maybe it can give more authenticity to its answers and
everything's gonna have a strong
help you solve your problems.
just a strong like.
Just listen. Let's just be charitable. Just be charitable.
Okay, we'll assume everything on Reddit is very good and safe for consumption for adults and children, not harmful at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, there are no bad subreddits or ideas. The best place to train.
I mean, no matter where you look on Reddit, there's some pretty crazy stuff. So, I mean, I think it's a neat thing, but it's also just even more worrying because it's just like more data that OpenAI is just, it's got to get its fingers on. And
well, I mean, either you offer it to them or they're going to take it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Is like, is there even?
At least Reddit makes money this way.
Yeah, with Sony and Reddit, like they kind of seem like they want to license it out and maybe make some money because they know that OpenAI will probably take that data one way or another. So it's just a matter of like,
because the thing is, a lot of these companies, they put in so much work protecting their data in house, right? But then anything you put online is essentially free now, and I think to some degree Sony regrets or they lament that fact of the internet, because Sony's like, we own this music, but you put it on YouTube, so do you? Like once it's on the internet, it's kind of just free to everyone. Everyone wants to tell these AI companies, no, this is my data. No, these are my articles. No, these are my songs. But can you stop them? I know people. Yeah. I'm not saying any names. I know people with entire terabytes worth of quote unquote copyrighted material online because, well, it's out there. And even if someone says they own it, once someone hits the download or save as button, it's theirs too.
Yeah. It reminds me of like NFTs. No, I mean, I remember how like people are like, I can just download the JPEG of an NFT.
Yeah, I have it too.
Yeah.
I saw who was the guy? He printed out a picture of someone's NFT.
Yeah, just
like, and then like he took a picture of it, put it on Twitter to antagonize the guy. Like, I have it too.
Yeah, I own it too. Because I mean, I'm not going to get into NFTs and that whole mess, but you know, okay. Here's a different thing about AI. Let's move away from OpenAI.
Okay, there's still more, guys.
Yeah,
wow,
there's a lot of AI stuff.
All right, what you got?
So, did you hear about the new feature that Microsoft unveiled called Recall?
I couldn't tell you.
Or maybe more importantly, do you know what Copilot is?
I know what a Copilot is.
Oh no, the Copilot, the sort of software or service. It's Microsoft's AI system they're going to be putting into Windows operating systems.
Okay, so
kind of have already started. It's called Copilot. Well, anyways, there was a conference on Monday where Microsoft showed off a couple of new laptops and stuff, like their Surface products. Mm-hmm. I really like that. I actually have a Surface laptop, and they finally updated the Surface laptop, and I might even be upgrading to this new one. But that has nothing to do with the actual story, really. Microsoft revealed a new AI-powered feature called Recall for Copilot Plus PCs that will allow Windows 11 users to search and retrieve their past activities on their PC. So have you ever, like, done something on your computer a few weeks ago, like you were working on some file, some project? I mean, we do that a lot here, working on editing stuff. And you're kind of like, I remember I had that file. Like, what did I do with it? Or like, where did I put it? Or
you just search the name of the file.
Well, Windows search is kind of doesn't always work that well, but it can. Or like you just kind of forget something about that. Well, this is going to help you. To make it work, Recall records everything users do on their PC, including activities in apps, communications, in live meetings, and websites visited for research. Despite encryption and local storage, the new feature raises privacy concerns for certain Windows users. So basically the way this works
is a keylogger.
It's a little more than that. Recall uses Copilot advanced processing capabilities to take images of your active screen every few seconds.
A keylogger with pictures.
Yes, Microsoft says on its website. The snapshots are encrypted and they're saved on your PC's hard drive. You can use Recall to locate the content you have viewed on your PC using search or on a timeline bar that allows you to scroll through your snapshots of the last few weeks, maybe even months. By performing a recall action, users can access a snapshot from a specific time period, providing context for the event or moment they're searching for. It allows users to search through teleconference meetings they've participated in and videos watched using an AI-powered feature that transcribes and translates speech. So you can go back to that meeting that you had, that work meeting, and even get like transcriptions of everything everybody said, all that. So,
it's about to be crazy. It's about to be crazy dangerous using your parents' computer as a kid when you're trying to find pornography.
Yeah. At first glance, the recall feature seems like it may set the stage for potential gross violations of user privacy. Despite reassurances from Microsoft, that impression persists for second and third glances as well. For example, someone with access to your Windows account could potentially use recall to see everything you've been doing on your PC, which might extend beyond the embarrassing implications of pornography viewing and actually threaten the lives of journalists or perceived enemies of the state.
Well, I'll say if you are an enemy of the state, maybe don't give anyone else access to your Microsoft account. But
the thing is, you might not be giving it.
But they hacked into your Microsoft account? Oh, okay. In that case, I mean...
Despite the privacy concerns, Microsoft says the recall index remains local and private on device, encrypted in a way that is linked to a particular user's account. So they say that, but, users can pause, stop, or delete captured content and can exclude specific apps or websites. Recall won't take snapshots of in-private web browsing sessions on Microsoft Edge. What are you laughing about? What's so funny?
I just had a thought. I was like, your wife's like, how come the recall ends every time you search P in a Google chat?
Yeah, that's right. However, recall won't actively hide sensitive information like passwords and financial account numbers that appear on screen. So that'll be on those recall screenshots.
I mean, but if that's what you're trying to recall, then it's useful, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to give this feature a little bit of grace here and say that I think that their heads were in the right place in terms of usefulness. Mm-hmm. Like, there are legitimately times on my computer where it's like, I know I was doing this thing on my computer a couple weeks ago, and I just want to remember what I was doing, or where I put this file, or kind of when this happened. And this could be useful for that. It's just that, I don't know, you get too many of the word AI, screenshots, data.
This is one of those cases where the artificial intelligence aspect doesn't really, it doesn't have much of an impact to me. I'm more looking at it as a more of a functional thing. Mm-hmm. It just does something you should already be able to do. Finding documents on your computer that if I lost a document, I should still be able to find it. The tools we have today are adequate. Unless I actually deleted the file, and even then, recall, I guess, could show you that you deleted it. So now you deleted the file that you needed. And if I had to remember a password or something, there's password managers out there. I don't know. Maybe this is better because a lot of cases you need to use third-party apps or other clouds to manage that data, to hold on to it. In this case, it will just all be on your one device, which, I guess that's more convenient.
Yeah. I don't think it's a net bad thing. If it truly is stored on device and they're not lying about that, then I think that's actually a rather useful feature.
Maybe when the agreement pops up, when you boot up the update, maybe you read through that for once in your life. Just give it a look, just to see where they say the data's going, Because we just hit agree, but it could...
The thing is now, though, is you won't get a choice. How it is now, that it's not an agree or disagree thing. It's just the only option is agree, or you don't get to start.
Well, I'm not updating.
But I feel like this might be a thing you can opt out. I hope it's a thing that you can opt out of. In fact, you won't have to use this unless you're using a computer that's got the feature to begin with. So there's that. But I thought this was kind of an interesting AI feature because it falls more in line with the type of AI that I'm okay with, which is just functional assistance. In fact, the AI part of this is only really for doing the not live transcriptions, but post transcriptions of meetings and stuff, and being able to kind of type in stuff, and it can help it find it more contextually.
I wonder,
that's where the AI
if
comes
you have a
in.
live mic while working on your computer, and you just because I talk to myself a lot when I work on things, but what if my mic is hot, right? And I'm just working.
Yeah.
And do you think it would record and transcribe pretty much all my thought process while I'm on those websites because there's an available mic?
I think it wouldn't go that far because from my understanding, it's just screenshots, and that's a lot
Because it's only a matter of time before someone like has like a secret meeting in front of a hot mic, and then someone goes into their recall later and it says, and they can read out what was said. A new age of spying begins now.
I mean, I know that screenshots are a lot cheaper to store than like having the audio with it as well. So I assume that they're not storing that, but who knows? There are also some other neat AI features that it had for like search and like the ability to like you can like do very simple doodles on like with your Microsoft Pen or whatever, and then it can like that can guide the AI and it'll generate an image or whatever. So you need something for a meeting, you can like draw a basic little picture of a car, and it'll.
I think people are just gonna draw dicks.
Probably so, but
it just feels like even in my adult life, at every opportunity I've seen just to give someone the ability to sketch something, they just draw a dick.
That's always the go-to.
I remember in elementary school when the go-to doodle was the 6 lines that make the weird diamond S thing.
S thing. Yeah,
that was the doodle, but now it's just dicks. That's all we draw.
Yeah. If you're in any public bathrooms and
oh my gosh, what happened when I gave Larry that tablet for the quiz video?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Final AI story.
What? There's golly. Y'all, this is an AI podcast now?
No, this was actually from like a week before, but we never got to talk about it. Bumble is flirting with the idea of AI-powered dating. You ever thought about using AI to date, Alec?
No, of course not.
Well, during the Bloomberg Tech Summit, Bumble
maybe
founder...
I'll be more successful. Continue.
Bumble founder and executive chair Whitney Wolf Hurd disturbed dating folks everywhere when she said AI personas or avatars of Bumble users. You might know Bumble, the dating site where like women have to speak first.
They have to send the first message. Though typically they would send a nothing message, which requires you to send the first message.
How would you know that?
I've been on it before.
Okay. Just interesting. Would be the next wave of dating. The interview had started off well enough. She says, loneliness is on the rise. It's actually one of the biggest issues humanity is facing, Hurd said, which is statistically true.
And she's saying, well, we don't need people. We need AI.
Well, here's what she says. Let's hear her out, Alec. Let's hear her out. I mean, according to the Surgeon General and top doctors, loneliness is actually killing us. And social media, while it has its benefits, is not social media. It is anti-social media. So I think there's something really powerful about the technology we're building to really connect us. Go online to get offline.
Isn't Bumble social media?
Sort of, yeah. Things started to go off the rails shortly after when she said the solution to the loneliness pandemic is the use of AI bots that could represent us in social interactions on dating platforms such as Bumble in order to make it more efficient and narrow our selection. So, there's a world where your dating concierge could go and date for you with another dating concierge, and then you don't have to talk to 600 people. So,
it sounds like that you're just making the AI less lonely, but you're still alone, so you're not doing any of the talking.
Well, no, listen, we are always charitable on this podcast.
Since
on
when?
The Pod of Greed. We're going to try to be charitable to these companies. Here's what's going to happen, Alex.
This is a pot of greed. This is not common charity.
Listen.
Or graceful charity.
So you get on Bumble, and you make your profile. It asks a bunch of questions about you and your personality. Hey, how would you handle this situation? How would you do this thing? What do you like about this and that? Maybe we'll record some clips of your voice. What are your interests? This, that, the other.
Clips of my voice?
Yeah. Oh, shh. Just a little extra data. We just need a little extra data.
That's one of the things I catfish with. So, it's all fun and games till they hit a voice.
So they make an AI profile of Alec. And now it goes and dates all the other AI profiles in the region or the area or whatever. And it does the dating for you. So instead of you having to get on there and chat with him or her,
you just meet up and have sex?
Well, the way that they're I'm trying to explain this as best I can.
Because they're doing the dating for you, so all that's left after that is the marriage and procreate.
No. The idea is that, you know how you go on a Tinder or whatever, and you try to talk to people, and you go on these dates, and you realize, yeah, there's nothing going. There's no spark here. The chemistry is bad.
And you're already in the restaurant, which is
you're already in the restaurant.
Can't even leave. Yeah. Well, you could leave, but that'll make you a jerk.
And all this stuff. And it's man, how come dating sucks so much these days? Why can't I find someone who's right for me? Well, they think that by using your AI profile and other people's AI profiles that they've made, the AI profiles they have the conversation with each other. And they talk and determine if they have good chemistry because they're representations of you. And her will say.
Oh, I see. I see.
And so basically, AI Alec thinks that AI Sarah is not a good fit. So they just, before Sarah even hits your screen as an option or whatever, your AI is determined she's not compatible with you.
Got it.
So now AI moves on to Rachel, right? Or, whatever. And so eventually it will find the AI like good matches. And it's like, okay, these are the people who seemingly pass the ALEC test, because it's like the ALEC AI.
Or it's more of the AI test.
The AI, ALEC X, Melissa test. And so finally, now that the two AI like kind of agree that they're a good match or would have some chemistry, then it shows you her picture. And now like, it's like you already have assurance that you guys have personality, compatibility. And so now it's like there's less risk in continuing the conversation and going to meet up. That's their sales pitch. Thoughts?
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the catfish game gonna be strong. Cause like you can just tell, from my understanding here is that you can just tell the AI whatever. So yeah, I'm extremely athletic. I'm social, but I also like to like keep to myself and read. I have a 6-figure salary. I drive a Maserati, and and I'm looking for someone who, they understand the plight of an extremely handsome rich man.
Yeah.
And then my AI goes and finds women who want extremely handsome rich men.
Who have also lied about their everything.
Everyone's
lied.
And so we're all just gonna take turns, and that's me being like extreme. But even if I'm being like fair, we all position ourselves on these apps and even in social media in general in the best possible light, or in the light that we see ourselves, which may not be reality.
Yeah.
So I mean, it feels like we're just gonna waste this AI's time as the fake AI does fake dates, and then you still meet someone and you're immediately like, oh no, why did the AI? I told the AI I only like blondes. Like in the picture she's redhead. Like what's going on?
Look, Alec, it's gonna save you lots of time and trouble.
I don't think it's
so. Here, okay.
I feel like you could trick some people, sure.
So I've been trying to be like kind of, fair to this. I think it's actually like not a good idea at all. I mean, to kind of, dare I say, terrible, because I think that at best, it might get you a date that like you probably could have just found yourself. Like it's weird. Like okay,
I don't think the AI
let's skip all that. What do they really want here? Like
they want you to spend more time on the app.
Well, maybe. I think that they actually want. Here's what I think. Because the way that they're positing this is you have to spend less time chatting with, these girls or guys or whatever who like you're wasting your time in these conversations that don't go anywhere and all that stuff. It sounds like from what she's saying, she doesn't want people to have to like spend all their time on the app. You can spend your time doing other stuff. Where I think this is going is you have to pay for this service. So like literally like for X99 a month, that's how you get the AI version of you to do your dates for you, so you don't have to spend so much time on Bumble, but you can still get dates from it, and they can still monetize you, and that's more reliable than just hoping you spend a lot of time on the app and they can serve you ads. That's my guess.
I think you would actually just end up at the same exact amount of time spent, because
just about, you think?
Yeah, the AI can, even if everyone's being 100% honest, right? Let's pretend this world exists.
Yeah.
And the AI do their little screening thing, and they find like good matches for you, good potential matches. You know what your first message is gonna be? Sup?
Yeah.
Hey, Cindy, glad we matched.
Yeah.
I see that you're also a fan of the New York Giants.
Yeah.
Like, it's you're still gonna say all the same boring BS that has to be said in the early parts of talking to someone, because you didn't actually get to know Cindy while these AI were talking. The AIs learned each other.
There's supposed to be this assurance that Cindy and you have compatible personalities because the AIs deemed it so. And it's the AI personas of you did.
But then you send Cindy this dry lead-off message, and Cindy gets the message. She's like, what am I supposed to say to this? Like, well, I'm a fan of the Giants. Like,
yeah.
But, like, I don't love the Giants. Is that what we're going to talk about for the next 30 minutes? You know what? I'm just going to leave this one alone and go see if I'll go talk to someone else on that for now.
Yeah. So that's what they're trying to do.
But that's funny, because not long ago, I remember reading an article about how Bumble is losing money and losing users.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think that all the dating sites, from what I've heard, are kind of not doing like Tinder and.
I think the pandemic surprisingly like broke them. You would think during a time when people aren't really supposed to be outside and they're supposed to be quarantined off, that online dating would see this huge like renaissance, right? Because it'll be more useful. But what I think happened with dating apps, they saw a boom in users and the jig was up. I think most people found online dating works for very, very few people. That at the end of the day, like, you kind of need the in-person, face-to-face conversations.
Yeah.
Even the most handsome, the most charismatic, the most energetic people still fumble like talking to people online.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like the whole online dating thing was. We don't typically talk about this a lot on the podcast, so this is maybe more personal than like what I'm used to talking about on this sort of thing. Is I don't think that you can really find like love on a social media site. I know that there are success stories.
Nobody dates for love, Paul.
I know.
We date for free meals and a reason to go to brunch.
But I think of it as just like it's this hyper reliance on technology. I know how, like, I mean, it's just from the use of social media, we all have these masks and stuff. Yep. We're all kind of masking. And I think that it's fine maybe when we're just masking on, like, Twitter or something. It's, like, silly memes and jokes and people kind of trying to get clicks. But it's even worse when you're, like, trying to find, like, some authentic connection. And it's just, like, but it's a commoditized kind of gamified website where, like, on Tinder and all these places, like, you swipe, right? You, like, swipe from person to person, like as though it's just a carousel of, you know, green check mark, red X mark. You've made this many matches today, or like there's this many people in your area. It's like, it's very. I feel like it kind of removes. You know, I don't know. That's my kind of. I guess I'm not very optimistic about these sites, and I think that adding AI to them worsens whatever bad parts were already there, whatever questionable parts were already there.
I mean, I don't think AI in any way saves online dating, these platforms. Now, I know in some like science fiction works, they it's like AI in certain science fiction works decide your partner for you. They like it evaluates your compatibility and essentially it just tells you, so hello, meet Judith. She's this, she's that.
Yeah.
We're scheduling you to meet on Friday.
Yeah, the kind of planned marriage sort of thing. It's kind of cool when you see it in fiction. Like, oh, there's like this utopia society where like, you know, it finds a person who's a perfect match for you statistically. But
in all those works, those are actually dystopian societies, not at all utopian like they posit. Because like in real life, nobody can force you to meet anyone. Even if the Bumble AI works really well, even if it was made with the best intentions in the world, if it tells me that Kaiba behind you is my match, and I'm like, ugh, I'll just ignore it. I'll go do something else.
It's a weird form of arranged marriage, almost. Like, it's just... It's also... It's like, you know, social media and the internet and technology is kind of like torn a lot of us apart in many ways. And so the solution to that is to use even more of it to, like, you know, so...
I mean, maybe one day we'll all have our little AI assistants. And you can be in person walking around, and you know you're at a bar and you meet someone, and so instead of talking to them, you just like have your AI friend talk to their AI
on the shoulder
friend, and you two just quietly sip your drinks, not speaking,
as your AIs dictate.
Once the AI set up a date, then you will briefly lock eyes and then leave.
Yeah, and now you're married next week.
And that's how I met your mother, kids.
Okay, that's enough AI for me. Any other stories that you have?
Golly, I'm
sorry. I share. Yeah, this was the AI apocalypse.
No, actually, I didn't have that much this week, sadly.
That's cool. I've got a final story to kind of send us off with, and this one's not AI related.
And I'm not going to complain. I don't care what it is. I won't do it.
Target to lower prices on thousands of basic items as inflation sends customers scrounging.
Here we go. No, I said I'm not complaining. I'm not.
So yeah, Target plans to cut prices on thousands of consumer basics this summer, from diapers to milk, as inflation cuts into household budgets and more Americans are paying closer attention to their spending. The price cuts, which have already been applied to 1,500 items, will eventually include 5,000 different foods, drinks, and essential household goods. Target and other retailers are increasingly catering to customers who are struggling with higher prices for groceries, though inflation has begun to cool. So you might have also heard about how like McDonald's is supposed to be doing this as well. McDonald's is introducing like the $5 menu meal thing.
I want a faux for faux.
Yeah.
I don't want a $5 anything.
There's a lot of mixed opinions on this whole thing.
A $5 footlong Big Mac.
Dear God. That makes me sick thinking about it. But yeah, so basically, we all know prices have been getting really high lately, especially here in the last like year or so. Places like McDonald's in particular have been like, even all fast food restaurants have gone up pretty high on price. But like more and more of them have gotten like really high in price. And like to the point where like it's almost like it's very noticeably like, you know, McDonald's used to have like a $1 menu that's gone, stuff like that.
But I do think, you know, given our area, Louisiana is one of the cheapest states in the United States. Maybe we don't really get it. Maybe
I mean,
we
other
just,
places it's worse.
Yeah, maybe we just think it's expensive. But like if you go up to like California or New York and it's like, oh no, this is different. It's really expensive.
It's a national like epidemic. It's just that prices have gone up so high, and I think that there's something kind of suspicious.
I'm so you used epidemic and not pandemic there. That was the proper word. I'm so happy.
There's sort of there's something a bit suspicious though about like Target saying, "All right, guys, we're gonna lower prices," but that kind of suggests that you could have always done that, and that the prices raising was not entirely due to inflation.
They could not always do that. They have to weigh these things. Shareholders will get upset if you cut prices without having a very good reason to. And in this case, it's marketing. Think about it not as we're cutting prices and reducing our profit. We're really just taking some of our profits and turning into marketing.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, there's kind of just this pullback from shoppers where fewer and fewer people are actually going out to these stores and buying stuff now, because it's just like, well, groceries are just expensive. You know, eating out is very expensive.
That's true. My food stamps be running out faster and faster, boy. No, I got denied food stamps.
So you know, it's very much a case of like these places they found the upper limit of what people will withstand in terms of prices. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, okay, I guess we got to dial it back some. And I mean, they're lowering these prices now. Does that mean that it's like there was a planned temporary thing or what? But what do you think? Do you think this will get you back into, you know, would you buy more things if they were cheaper? It's like, it sounds like an obvious question, but
yeah, like, that was a strange question. I was like, whoo, is there a trick to this?
Well, I mean, you know, is that going to get you back into Target? I don't know if you ever really
Target's just not a convenient place for me to shop at all. Okay, so I don't shop there. I mean, now I could shop at a cheaper place.
Or if your grocery store of choice or whatever, you know, was like,
if they cut prices, cool, but I go to my closest grocery store. It's not the cheapest, but it's the closest. Okay. That's what I go to. Yeah. But I'm not the average person. The average person makes price-conscious decisions, and I think this will help them out a lot. I don't know if that will make you switch stores necessarily. I
mean, it sounds to me like this is just people who were shopping at Target, but they're just not shopping as much, and it's finally kind of biting into the bottom line.
You know what? I'm gonna go shopping at Target just so I can see what the prices are like, because I don't know. We have a Target in the area. It's just there are multiple places I could go before Target, so I would.
Well, I thought it was kind of cool, or maybe not cool. I mean, it's a little suspicious to me. I just still don't like the idea that like they can conveniently just decide to decrease prices when they want to, because it's like all it proves to me is that it was price gouging. Like, inflation is a thing that has happened, right? Yeah. But it sounds like they were increasing prices over just the amount that inflation was, and
supply and demand.
Yeah, and so now they're kind of like pulling back because people are just choosing not to buy. So.
Well, this is how I like to look at such situations. I like to imagine that every CEO is Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars.
Right.
And once I imagine that their CEOs is, you know, the leader of the empire, it all falls into place.
Okay.
It is not in our best interest, guys. This is all part of his plan.
Alec isn't taking the story very seriously. All right, well, it's time to reach into the pot of greed.
All right. I want to hear
Answer
what you
some
guys
viewer
have
questions.
to say. Oh, is that one? Nope, that's not one.
Very exciting.
Is this one? Nope. Those don't have sleeves on them. Got
Anyway,
one.
we've been doing this thing where we write the question on the clear card sleeve. I don't know if that's a good or a bad idea, but we do it. Here we go.
All right, Paul, I'm just going to trade you this one.
You're gonna trade it to me.
Yes, this is not a question for me.
All right, well, I mean, you can ask it, just say it aloud.
Oh, okay.
I guess, right?
Who is your favorite competitive Smash player and your fave character to watch?
That's mostly for me, because
Yeah,
I don't think you really watch. Okay, well, let me see if this is a question I intended to. Okay, no, anyway. Yeah, I watch a lot of competitive Smash, Melee and Ultimate. In terms of Melee, right now, this will all go over your head. You'll have no clue who any of these people are.
Hungry Box.
My favorite player to watch is Jmook. He is a Sheik main. Yeah, he's like a Sheik player who kind of came up on the scene a couple years ago with like a big performance. He plays Sheik. Sheik is also the character that I play in Melee, so it's good to see like a solo Sheik main doing well in Melee. Again, it's for people who follow this, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, just maybe skip the next minute or two. But yeah, I like watching him. I like that his gameplay is really, it's innovative, it's very precise, and it feels like, you know, it's very efficient. So I like that. And in Smash Ultimate, my favorite player is Sonic.
Meister.
No, my favorite player is Sonic. He's a Sonic player. I like Sonic the Hedgehog, the character, so it's cool to see him do well in Smash. And even though a lot of people kind of find or claim to find his gameplay like slow or campy or boring or whatever, he's actually a very like good player. He studies a lot. He grinds a lot. He's actually really offensive on hit. And I like watching his edge guards because when he gets people off stage, they don't come back. I think that's like a really cool way to approach the game. And I think he actually gets a lot more hate than is deserved because like, I mean, he's playing to win. And so, yeah, gotta do what you gotta do. Although I like watching many different players. So that probably answers like, the question. I mean, you know.
And that's going to have to answer it, guys.
Yeah, I don't think Alec really watches.
I don't.
I think there's another question in this pot that's like maybe more to your specific interest that I won't have any say on. But anywho, that question I grabbed was actually from the previous week, so I need to grab another one. Let me see. You should start watching competitive Smash, though. It might be fun. You might find players you like. After watching, like, following competitive Smash has given me more appreciation for the people who follow competitive sports and, like, have their favorite teams and players and get really, like, argumentative and stuff.
I just can't get into it because the game's over.
Like, what do you mean?
Smash ended.
Ended?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely still played.
Updating the game.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. I mean, people find new tech and meta developments happen all the time.
It's hard for me to get past that point.
If you had to pivot away from Yu-Gi-Oh! But still do YouTube, what content would you produce?
Ooh.
Huh.
Ooh.
I mean, good question. I think about it every day. Sometimes I'm like, man, what would I make if I didn't do Yu-Gi-Oh! Content? Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Content is... Sometimes it's a bit stale for me. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I feel like we've done Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff for so long and kind of explored a lot of different avenues of it. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, like, how much else there is to really do.
I've been a proper YouTuber for so long. If I weren't doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, I'd be one of those, like, bad Chimera channels. I would just make content on literally whatever I care to talk about the day of.
Yeah.
It would be, for me, it would range from like reactions to episodes of like whatever TV show I'm watching, mobile games that I'm playing.
It'd just be like a bit of a look into Alex's entertainment life.
Yeah, it'll be like my 1001 hobbies will just all be there. That's what my
I think that's what I would do too.
Would be.
It would just be my hobbies, my interests. I'd probably, if I had
I'd
to
have 10 viewers.
Sum it up, it'd probably be like I'd want to be like a commentary YouTuber, not like a reaction tuber, because I don't love like just straight reaction content. I've done it for what it's worth, like on Yu-Gi-Oh! Vids and stuff, but I think I'd rather just, you know, commentary on kind of stuff that's happening, news and games and media and entertainment.
Keemstar started that way too.
Oh no, I don't want to be a drama channel. Yeah, I don't want to be a drama channel. I just want to be like a kind of a commentary channel. So, and I have a lot of interest too. I really like tech. It's a shame that's something I don't get to talk as much about. I don't think I would want to do like tech reviews. I would rather just talk about like my favorite trends in tech or my least favorite trends in tech and stuff like that. So maybe a bit of gaming here and there. Highlight a cool game I played that I liked or something. I don't play them much, but when I do, sometimes you'll find a game that really stands out.
Y'all be sick of him. He just be playing Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah. Or 14. Play a lot of that too. Cool. Okay. All
right. Digging in the pot. Let's see.
We just got a letter. I wonder who it's from.
Since Alec is a Star Wars fan.
Oh, yeah. This is okay. This is a very you question.
What do you think of Acolyte so far, and are you excited for it? So, Acolyte is that new series that's coming to Disney Plus at some point. I don't even remember when.
That's the trailer where people didn't like that it was too diverse.
I mean, I think it looks cool. Anytime we get a bunch of Jedi doing lightsaber battles, that'd be cool. I think the reason I'm most excited for Acolyte is because, given where we are in the Star Wars universe, we actually don't have a lot of opportunities to see like Jedi lightsaber battles. The Mandalorian is literally not about a Jedi, and at that point in the story, there are very few Jedi to have lightsaber battles with. Boba Fett was much the same, and even like some of like the fun series like Star Wars Bad Batch, there aren't supposed to be a lot of Jedi in that story or in that world at the time, so we don't get to just have the brainless fun that is, I just want to see fun lightsaber battles. But the Acolyte's like, here's a handful, go at it. Like there's plenty of Jedi now. They're all gonna jump around, swing swords, and I'm looking forward to that. I don't have too many thoughts. For me, when I see a trailer, I acknowledge that I want to see it.
Yeah,
and then I move on. I don't like. If there's been any, I don't know who the actors are. I don't get hyperfixated on any leaks or anything. I just know that when the Acolyte comes out, or Acolyte, or is it Acolytes? I think it's Acolytes.
I think it's Acolyte.
Is it Acolyte? Anyway, whichever one it is, I just know I'm going to watch it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that the way that you consume trailers is probably kind of similar to me, where like I don't like to fixate too much on like the full lead up of the game's release. Like I usually will watch the first trailer and get excited like when the trailer's there, but I don't do much more in the way of like following the news around it, or like, because I don't like there's two things I don't like actually. The first thing is I'll start with the good one, or the one that probably a lot of people can agree with. I don't like leaks. I know some people love leaks to death. They like, oh my god, like this thing leaked and this thing leaked. I don't want to know what characters are like unveiled for the game, or all the new Pokemon. When Pokemon games come out, there's always these leaks.
Oh yeah, it's a whole
here's the starters
season
leaked
of leaks.
forms, and here's the leaked this, and here's you'll be able to do that, and this is in the game, and this is in the game. We data mined this demo and found this. It's like, so do you guys like what do you want? Like, do you just like wait for the game and play it? You'll find out everything like when the game comes out. You'll get to play it. It'll be fun. So I don't really care for like so much of that like speculation and stuff and leak culture. And then also I really don't like talking about video games with like on the internet very much. I just think like there's so much fixation on like whether a game will like fail or succeed, or like is it peak or is it mid, or just all these things like the expectations of what Acolyte has to be for the Star Wars universe.
This is a TV show, not a video game.
Yeah. No, but it's the same. I feel like a lot of the same applies.
It does kind of work both ways.
What does is Acolyte going to be the best Star Wars thing ever, or is it going to flop and fail and like ruin this? Because it feels like that's so much of the conversation when you engage with it on, say, Twitter. And so for me, I like to just be like, well, I watched the original trailer. It's cool. And I'm going to buy X game or watch X show when the show drops and form my opinion then, and that'll be the end of it. So.
And I'm also, I'm a little over the Star Wars universe and Disney's hand in it. So my goal with anything Star Wars related is not to get like overly hyped for it. I am a decent amount of hyped for it, and that's what I'll stay.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any more news about that show until it comes out.
Yeah. All right, well, our final question is actually one that it's a really long question, so I'm reading it from the Google spreadsheet.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
It's a Master Duel question. I'm someone who grew up with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games and consider them very influential to my current knowledge of the overall game. One of the things I love the most about the older games is the role-playing elements, like creating an avatar, having your bedroom, having a duel disc for deck construction, and a calendar for weekly events, a more immersive pack shop, with someone like Solomon Moto as the store clerk, and an overall cooler display of the available packs. Also, avatar and ranking customization, maybe based on like GX dorms. Do you think something like this could work in Master Duel? So this is actually a good question because I know you recently have been playing the Sacred Cards.
Yep.
Which is sort of it's
an RPG
style approach to things, which I think is cool.
I started Russia for Destruction as well. I hate it.
I know it's supposed to be harder than Sacred Cards.
No, it's just bad.
It's bad?
Like, it's just bad. It's bad.
So, do you think that elements like this could work in a game like Master Duel?
So, you could put it in Master Duel. Mm-hmm. It does not belong in Master Duel, though.
Belong is a strong word.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Master Duel was not. It wasn't designed to be much more than a simulator that it is now.
Yeah. Okay.
Adding more personal elements that make it seem like, oh, there could be like some type of an RPG component to this game. Like, but Master Duel was not built to be. It wasn't built to be personal. It wasn't built to have this homey feel to it. It was built to be a simulator.
Do you think that these things could be good for it?
I think it could be good in a different Yu-Gi-Oh video game.
Yeah, because I say that because I mean, like, we know what Konami wants it to be because that's just what it is.
Yeah.
But I think this person just kind of, wanted to explore the idea of more of that stuff.
Because I think those ideas are great for a Yu-Gi-Oh video game, but I just don't. Master Duel it doesn't reach my goal. Like, Master Duel is a fine Yu-Gi-Oh video game, but what this guy wants is here. What Master Duel is here, and what I want for a Yu-Gi-Oh video game is like right here. It's like what he wants fits right where I want a Yu-Gi-Oh video game.
Yeah, because
Master Duel doesn't do enough. It just does not do enough.
So maybe there's a separate conversation then to be had. Is Master Duel like is it doing enough as a Yu-Gi-Oh video game? And I think for me, I like Master Duel in that like it accomplishes that very goal that you described. Mm-hmm. It is a kind of perfect Yu-Gi-Oh simulator.
Yeah, it gets that job done. It presents
it well.
Flying colors.
It's fun. But I think that Yu-Gi-Oh video games could really afford to be more RPG-like and more creative and more immersive and like really show like, an overworld or some areas to explore, some character customizations, a shop that not just says like shop. Yeah. And it has the packs, but like, oh, Solomon Moto's there and he talks and you see the kind of game shop in the background and you see the packs on a shelf and it's kind of a, something that's a little bit more immersive. I know that wasn't their intention, right? They just kind of want you to be able to play this game, spend your gems, get on here and like exist.
And honestly, I think the existence of Master Duel kind of hurts any chance of us getting other games.
Because Master Duel's successful. I'm sure they're making, hand over fist in money, but I would like to see a Yu-Gi-Oh game that kind of harkens back to what those older games when they were more creative. I was playing Dark Duel Stories, and it's extremely rudimentary for what it's worth, but even it still had like characters, and they say things, and there's like a shop, and there's like a crafting system. It felt a little bit more like Yu-Gi-Oh games back then were trying to be video games. Yeah. Whereas Master Duel is trying to be like a service.
Yeah, I mean
and that is all.
It's a dueling simulator. It does it well, but
it's like, dare I say, it's not even a video game.
I wouldn't call it one either.
Like it is a simulator.
There's this genre of like digital card games, and that's exactly Master Duel is like what they are and what they like to be. Mm-hmm. But we've had Yu-Gi-Oh video games before. We all have ideas of what we'd like to see from those games in a newer, fresher way.
And I don't think Konami is
Like,
I think
if I
they don't
were a
have enough
big wig at
incentive
Konami, yeah, like
right now.
if you look at, if I don't have Master Duel's financials because we can't have them, right?
Yeah, they'll
But
tell them when they want to.
I can imagine that if you're a big wig at Konami, nobody can bring a proposition for any new video games to me when I look at the Master Duel numbers and I say, and I'll look at it and I'll just say, why should I invest in any new projects when we have Master Duel?
Yeah, I mean, and Duel Links. Duel Links actually makes loads.
Yeah,
like
Duel Links
as mobile
too.
games go, it makes loads of money.
And even with that, Duel Links Master Duel made Duel Links look weak.
Yeah,
like Duel Links was at one point the only Yu-Gi-Oh modern Yu-Gi-Oh video game, and it was like, yeah, it's just the Yu-Gi-Oh game. Master Duel came out, and people were like, "Look at you, Duel Links."
Yeah, it's no longer the cool
your player
game to
base
play.
is gone. No one wants to stream you anymore.
I know we've talked about it a lot, but I do think that the failure of Cross Duel also probably cemented Konami's commitment to just, we're going to do the safe, effective thing. Because Cross Duel tried to be different. And it's not to say that it wasn't a flawed game, because I think they said it was really, I did not play much of it, but from what you guys told me and just what I saw online, it was heavy-handed with the microtransactions. So it wasn't perfect either. It wasn't like a guiltless game.
It's like,
but the fact that that different formula did not work, despite having some cool 3D models of the monsters.
They put money into it.
And like you even saw like the Duel Academy and stuff in the background. There was some cool stuff. It did not work. It did not resonate with people. It didn't land. And it had to sunset in a year. And I think that was Konami's like, okay, this is the nail in the coffin. We're just not going to try really too much
Cross
different
Duel
stuff.
upsets me for so many reasons. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, if you're Konami, it's a sure sign like, hey, let's not do this again.
Yeah.
However, I don't think they made that good of a game to begin with. I think Cross Duel had a lot of merit. I think there were some good ideas had there, and there were innovative ideas. They packaged it in a way that killed it.
I think, and I say this in fear of sounding like it's just a generic non-answer, but Cross Duel had a lot of potential and really flubbed the execution. And that gets said about every game now. Like, oh, a lot of potential, flubbed execution. But it legitimately, I think that the biggest issue for Cross Duel overall was that they were not able to connect it to the people who might like it. And the marketing was totally off to me. I think that they did not sell what it was supposed to be for people. And they added in these elements that were cool, but it's just like no one knows that they like this game or could like this game.
So Cross Duel reminds me a lot of Duelist of the Roses and Capsule Monsters Coliseum and how you reimagine Yu-Gi-Oh! Into a new game. Mm-hmm. In this case, a multiplayer game. And all of that is fine. Their base gameplay on maybe on a different console would have had more features instead of being on mobile where it had to be crunched down as much as possible. But ultimately, its issue was being a mobile free-to-play game with lots and lots of mobile transactions. At that point, you'd kind of shot your experiment in the foot.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Man, podcast is almost over, and here I am about to rant a little. Just a bit. Is like, Cross Duel sucks because the formula that it had would have worked great probably 15 years ago. And in that time period you're describing, maybe around or just shortly after like a Duelist of the Roses or a Capsule Monster Coliseum, where it's like, oh, cool. One more cool way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! One more way the IP is, screwing around. Mm-hmm. But you know what Cross Duel doesn't have? It doesn't actually have like a solo kind of campaign mode. It's designed in an era where like it's just a mobile game designed to do the mobile game thing, which is compete against people, spend a lot of money in a shop. Compete against people, spend a lot of money in the shop. There is no like.
I mean, most mobile games actually have like single player solo modes.
Yeah, and they skipped that.
They didn't have.
They were just kind of like, we're not going to really have like a campaign mode. It's just compete, spend, but there's no like, where's that single player mode to just teach you the game, accompanied by like maybe a story, and so the game can stand on its own two legs. Because like, since Cross Duel just ran server side, it means that when Cross Duel's server shut down, there's no game left. You can't access the game anymore. It'd be one thing if this was like a game where you could buy it on the eShop, and even if the online servers went down, you could at least still play it like maybe locally with friends, or at least still play the single player mode or something.
Right.
There's none of that. It was designed from the jump to be like, it's just a live service game. And in this day and age, if those don't stick fast, like if they only see fast profits and fast adoption, we sunset it. Like the decision to sunset that game was probably made like 3 months after it released, because they just saw like, okay, people aren't playing it, we're gonna sunset it.
In the mobile gaming space, your first week can see such intense profits. It's actually fairly obvious if a game will be sunset soon or not.
Yeah.
Because like the amount of money mobile games see in their first week is so astronomical. There are exceptions. Some games like do flub their opening, but then they bounce back. But for the most part, it's a pretty quick decision for most. What it is. Like for most businesses, they already know. It's like, oh, writing's on the wall. We flubbed it, y'all. Yeah. All right, you're fired. You're fired.
This whole team's let go. The game gets sunset.
All right, we're gonna keep you three on. You're gonna run it for as long as we can to make some kind of money back on this.
Now, the small silver lining here is that we do have that Konami VR experience that they have shown.
Don't be free to play.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go. I do fear that it might be like exactly what you're fearing. It's like a free to play game, and like it's kind of a service, and if it doesn't work well, they shut it down. But I'm hoping that they are willing to put enough resources in and also have enough faith in its ability to like function as a game, not just a service.
Though I do worry,
like, goad you into some microtransactions.
Because like, even if people are very interested in the Yu-Gi-Oh! VR game, at the end of the day, VR adoption is low, and I don't know. Like,
that's a worry I have about it too. Is if it's like a VR experience, people got to have like quests and
PSVRs,
Apple Vision Pros, whatever
else.
So and that's a small install base. So like I worry that they might be spending a lot of like R&D and development into this game, and like it's not that the game is bad, but that not that many people can play it.
And then this is getting to a little bit of a VR thing, but a lot of that hardware is disparate and different. You have to develop for multiple pieces of hardware, which astronomically increases your development costs. So more than likely you pick just one to put your game on, and then now you've limited your player base even further.
Yeah. I worry about how that's going to go. They might just do the thing where they just release it on Steam as like you can play it non-VR.
Yeah, have like a VR mode for it.
So that might be it. One last quick thing.
What's that?
This is a little Yu-Gi-Oh update. In Japan, they released a survey for people regarding the Chronicle Saga, like anime shorts thing. They released a survey that players can fill out. I think even we can fill it out.
Yeah, I did it.
I need to go ahead and do it. Where they just ask, like kind of what's your background with the game? What do you like about it? What would you like to see more from anime stuff?
In my survey, I don't think there's a part where I could just type in like a message, but so I answered in a way where I tried to get across, give us more.
Yeah, more. And I think it's kind of funny when they make those sorts of surveys where it's like, no one's gonna say no. Like I don't think unless you're like trolling or whatever, but no one's gonna say like, no, don't give us more of the like little Chronicle anime series. I think that the big question is like, are they going to continue to do them as shorts, or are they going to give us a kind of more of a full-fledged anime? I think that's what they're trying to decide is like the direction they want to take it.
Do you know about what questions were asked? Because I
saw a translated list. I have not done the quiz or the survey myself.
Because one of the questions was about, in what way should they release future animations? Mm-hmm. They listed things like short form content, but also Netflix. So that means they're also they are considering shorter form content, but they're also, well, if you're talking about Netflix,
they might like a full-fledged show,
full content. They even asked about what types of like lore stories we like in.
Yeah, I saw that was asked about. I know some people were saying that they were considering like doing it on like YouTube, for instance.
Yeah, I saw
versus maybe Netflix, because Netflix means it's a little bit more exclusive to watch, whereas YouTube is like free for everyone to watch, but it's less profitable for like Konami that way.
So Gundam with Bandai, they have their Gundam Info YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel, they just post entire Gundam movies, entire Gundam like TV shows, subbed in multiple languages. And at first I thought this was like a stunt or a limited time thing, but they pretty consistently just throw up all things Gundam on that YouTube channel.
All I know is, I just would like to see more of whatever it is that we're getting. Like, more Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated stuff cannot hurt anybody.
Yeah.
So the more we get, the better. Either way, I think that's pretty much it.
That's it for the Pod of Greed.
Thank you guys so much, as always, for your support. Remember, if you want to submit a question to talk about in the pod, then you can follow the link in the description. We will talk about anything, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or otherwise.
Oh, maybe not everything.
Yeah, maybe not everything. Let us know what you guys thought about any of the stories we discussed. Lots of AI and other
There's a lot of AI in this one.
Things here. So, yeah, cool. Guess we'll see you guys in the next one.
Pass turn.